Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I think we fixed it. Yulitsa, hello. Welcome to the Game Changers Cash Cup. We are getting ready to jump into our best of 32 round of 32 round of the Game Changers circuit. Of course, it is me, Blazebar, joined by the wonderful Yulitsa. Are you ready to see Nap Lovers and Joblife go head to head here?
I am very excited to see this game. It is an honor to be here for I believe this is the 4th iteration of the Cash Cup series of this Game Changer season. This one is hosted by EVC Tournaments. And I'm just very excited. We got a banger matchup today. Joblife GC, of course, having the core roster of the previous Overpeak roster that did really well, I believe, in last month's Cash Cup, as well as adding 2 players from different teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how this roster meshes up with each other, especially having a tenured player like Nilo as their head of Game Changers. I'm very excited.
And it should be very interesting to see how they stack up against this Nap Lovers roster on the other side, which we haven't really seen all that much of. All being said, right? It's a relatively unknown squad. And it's always going to be an exciting prospect to see how a team that you haven't seen too much of perform on the big screen. We're going to be jumping straight into Lotus, which will be Nap Lovers' pick.
Nap Lovers pick Lotus, of course, and Joblife starting on the attack. Lotus being one of those maps that we've seen so many pivotal matches on, so many decisive matches on. What can we expect from this Lotus? What are you looking forward to?
I mean, Lotus, it's a map all about rotations. It's a map all about making sure that you can solidify control over the B site while branching out onto A or C, right? It's all going to be about how well one of these teams can lock down that C site, which is so pivotal and often requires an entire pick dedicated just to closing it off. We are seeing from Joblife the Deadlock coming through as the designated Sentinel and Vise on the other side. I would argue, though, that Deadlock is a very irregular pick coming out for specifically that purpose.
Well, absolutely. I think it's also a part of the greater meta shift that we're seeing now, with Neon being nerfed into the ground, as well as Yoru also being basically completely taken out of the competitive circuit. These Sentinels are seeing their they're seeing their resurgence, right? On Joblife, you're seeing 3 Sentinels, right? The Deadlock Cypher Sage combo, no duelist at all. Sure, Omen can go aggressive with his TP, but there's not a single duelist on Joblife's side. Meanwhile, I'd say Nap Lovers has a more standard Lotus comp, and what I'm expecting the meta to evolve back into, a lot of the 1 Sentinel plus Viper with a duelist and an initiator, the Fade being so crucial.
Which, some people might argue that's a more difficult meta. Some people might argue that's going back to the roots of Valorant, right? When you think of classic competitive Valorant, you're thinking about these big Viper pits blocking off an entire side of Icebox, or, something to that effect, those long walls on Bind, etc. So it almost harkens back to a bit of a simpler time here, and we'll see how that plays out, as it is really going to be interesting to see how well Joblife can pilot this triple Sentinel comp on attack to get us started.
Absolutely. This being Nap Lovers' pick, interesting to see that Joblife decides to start on the attacking side when they have a very defensive comp, but obviously they have some sort of game plan ready for us so that we have something to watch and a good game to see, and we are just about to jump into the game. And Joblife heading towards that seaside, getting blocked off by the one-way by Mavinia.
Well, Mavinia has been netted, and here comes the Prowler to block off the site. Some shots are going to be enough to get rid of it. The health bar already low on the anchor here on the C site. Wall goes up, and it's a really clean crossing from Nap Lovers. They're going to be able to make it onto site very cleanly, especially with Mavinia going down there. Zoe does finally get a trade off before getting taken down herself, and they are finally solidly on site with the spike going down.
Lexa with her head on a swivel turns to the side and hits the face off. The counterpart, Asuna, on the other hand, taking out the Fade counter with Ritsu in the backline, causing so much troubles for Lamy. Having to second guess the position, swings out of the cage, gets picked off immediately. And now it's on to the 2v2 retake with Hinata and Xena on Joblife's side, trying to hold down the fort and waiting to buy some time for the bomb, maybe. And Rock Trumpet swings into the crosshairs of Xena, picks up the 2, and the pistol round goes handedly to the side of Joblife.
And that's, I guess, a very creative way of using this utility. They don't have a lot of space control outside of Omen, but in reality, what you do have is a lot of space control in terms of just straight up blocking an area. Yeah, sure, you don't have smokes like Viper does. You don't have vision control. We do have a fade here, but you know, you don't have that kind of aggressive control with the grenades, but you do have all of these walls and cameras and tripwires that do have a lot of space control. So it's kind of working out for them, but we'll have to see how it translates beyond just the pistol round.
Absolutely, and we're seeing a lot of, I mean, the walls are going to cause so much troubles every time Naplovers is on a low buy because it just takes so many bullets to destroy them. So we'll see what happens now. Naplovers seemingly have guessed correctly, stacked 3 people on onto the B site. With Joblife hesitant to speed up the tempo too much and just standing their ground, leaving Hinata with a Guardian maybe to find a pick, and she does.
Oy.
So does Ritsu. Asuna and Mavinia falling off rip, and the A side now cracked open for Joblife to go to.
And it is all controlled over towards the A site. They don't know it yet. They're still trying to clear it on out, but Joblife have gained an immense amount of pressure here. The rest of Naplovers have to contend with the tripwire. And even though there is some utility, there is an entire squad of Joblife. Hold on, the smoke goes through. Unique Valkyrie holding the angle. Lammy and Zoe, they're getting ready to peek around this corner, but it's going to be first to find it. The weapon difference is a lot, but actually 2 kills go in favor of Naplovers, but it is just Rock Jumper left standing. Only a classic to her name.
That was actually pretty massive from the side of Naplovers. Being able to pick off 2 of their opponents on their buy round is an advantage in the economy. Somehow Rocklover breaks open the little wall and is about to be met with a firing squad. I don't think she's in range of dying to the bomb. She has few options left. Shoulder peeks out, doesn't get killed, but somehow manages to make it into the explosion. That plan executed flawlessly from her, making the best out of a desperate situation.
It's just a nice little play there. It's a good heads up. It's a good economic management system. And it worked out for them this time around. But Naplovers are really going to need to solidify these defenses if they want to make it through. And now that they have a full buy under their name, I think this is where we're really going to have to see how that strategy meets the tarmac as we get into round 3.
Absolutely not too shabby of a buy from Joblife as well. I mean, losing 2 players, putting them onto Sheriffs, obviously a massive disadvantage as well. With a Guardian trying to peek out early, Ritsu there gets met by 2 players on the opposing side, decides to leave, no health exchanged at all, and now the device setup on C is just about to be tested. Joblife GC standing outside, Sage Wall ready to go, and now the hits coming in, walls up, Hinata's on top of it, Sheriff finds nothing for the time being. This is absolute pandemonium because everyone's hiding in corners. Lammy whiffs half a mag on a Hinata that doesn't even look at her direction, and now Naplovers instantly in the disadvantage.
That's atrocious. If your name is Naplovers, you cannot afford to lose that many players in a situation like that. Nothing traded, nothing gained, and so much ventured. Trying to move through here, they cannot afford to let this point go for free, but it's a decimation as Hinata claims 2. And the third and final player of Naplovers will fall as well. They'll be back to a low economic position. And Joblife are going to start to run away with this half. They should, in theory, be able to put a 4th on the board even before Naplovers are able to recover their economics and get themselves with a fighting chance. Meanwhile, Joblife, they haven't lost one. They have all the guns in the world.
Mind you, Hinata started that round with nothing but a Sheriff and utility to her name, ends it with 4 kills in total, and Joblife now investing heavily towards A side and this rubble take. Meanwhile, Naplovers with their low guns, with their low econ, are trying to meet them head on, but this is a 4-man rush into tree. They're about to be tested right here. Prowler comes out, spots out the opposition. Zoe throws a grenade, gets met by Hinata's gun barrel. The stinger in backside. Asuna trying to make the best of a situation. Finds absolutely squat because Hinata is just ready with that Vandal. Now it looks like Joblife with a plant down have secured their fourth. This is a tall mountain to climb for Nap Lovers.
It is, and Hinata has been a star for this squad so far. Taken down there by Rock Jumper, but traded straight out. Lexa finds 2 for themselves. No HP here on Mavinia. 1 shot from the shorty will be enough to claim credit for that one. Putting 3 on the board for Fade, and it is starting to look a little bit rough now for Nap Lovers. They are going to need to make excellent use of this gun round to start to turn the tide on their positioning, because if they lose more than a few more rounds here, it might be really difficult for them to come back into this, because this is, as a reminder, this is the offense from a team that we have earmarked as the defensive squad of these two. 3 Sentinels on the side for Joblife.
Yes, that is in fact the case, and it's interesting to see how they've decided to invest into this one. Zoe, the Rays on Naplov, is deciding to invest into a glass cannon operator with absolutely no shields. Meanwhile, Hinata picks up an op on her own, trying to find some early frags in C main, but Naplovers aren't looking to give out anything for free. B site, the one that looks like Joblife wants to test. Unique Valkyrie opening up the door, creating some question marks for the side of the defense. And Lamy has her utility to work with. TP comes out to bait out the wall, and a set of thorns. Door opening again. It looks like they're really trying to test this B site here. Nightfall in the hands of Lexa. Readied but not fired. Now a little lull in the moment. They're staying outside Hinata, looking to push with that wall. Nightfall comes through as well as the grab net. Mavinia in the corner finds one. The star player taken out. Meanwhile, Zoe on the other side with the long gun picks off Ritsu as well. This round, I was about to say, looks confident for Nap Lovers, but that whiff does make it a bit more difficult.
Yeah, and just the strength of that long-range Sage wall, you can see it was counteracted by having some sneaky position, but some good gunplay will save the round for Joblife. And 2 heroic pickups there from the deadlock will force Zoe into a defensive spot, trying to hold on to that weaponry. And what went wrong? Everything went wrong for this squad there. They had such a strong opener on the defense. It just slipped away from them. Joblife a little too potent in the gunplay. It feels like mechanics is where this team is being let down.
It definitely looks like that. It just looks like the microplay isn't really working from each of the individual players. Zoe with a chance now to pick up Unique Valkyrie. Misses the shot as well. This is what we're talking about, right? The two early kills onto B. Mavinia with a beautiful reposition into the pit, but just not being able to pick up anymore. Now the timeout coming in, a chance to reset, a chance to talk. And I honestly, some of these rounds have looked really close for Nap Lovers, but they just haven't been able to close it out. And the situation is pretty dire. Going up 0-5 in the fashion that they have right now is not a position you want to be in.
I think there's some big things to consider here, right? This is a Nap Lovers map pick. So this supposedly is the map that they are the most comfortable on. They wanted to be here, and they are looking really rough out there. This is not a squad that we would expect to be struggling this much. But on the other hand, so this is a squad that they're going up against, Joblife, that have so much tenure, that have so much power, that have so much momentum under them as a squad, that it's hard to picture Joblife really struggling. So when you put them together, it really does showcase the difference in experience of these two rosters. And so far, Nap Lovers are really, really struggling to make their voices heard in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. They've unfortunately gone silent. And now even if you look at the economy, right, even if Nap Lovers win this one, there's another buy for Joblife. There's one more after that, perhaps even a third full investment. And Joblife being these players that most of these players have already played together in other tournaments, and they're spearheaded. Their head of game changers, Nilo, who's been playing on rosters like G2 Gozen, the big ones and game changers. That experience speaks volumes, and I think we can see that in game as well.
Yeah,
Match
definitely.
timer seems to be stopped as well for some reason. We're not really getting anything. It looks like maybe a tech pause, possibly.
Yeah, just a little bit of a break here. We saw the actual in-game pause here as well. So maybe just an extension of that. We will keep everyone posted as we hear about it. But talk to me a little bit about this composition, Yulid. So Nap Lovers, they seem to be struggling to really hold these sites and get rid of the offensive pressure from Joblife. What's preventing them? How can they use this composition better to start to lock down these sites?
Honestly, in my opinion, I genuinely, what I'm seeing is that they're not really decided if they want to play retake or if they want to fight the sites as Joblife decides to hit. That's the main problem. What I'm seeing right now is not that, oh, they can't hold it because their team comp doesn't allow them to. It's just not decisive enough from the side of Nap Lovers. If they decide to fight the sites harder when Joblife tried to take, I think they could have great success with it. As we've spoken about, right? Triple Sentinel on the side of Joblife is going to make it incredibly difficult to retake, especially if they got time to set up the Sage Wall or the Deadlock Wall, as well as the Tripwires from the Cypher, would make it really difficult. But I think Nap Lovers just need to exploit the fact that Joblife doesn't have a duelist.
Yeah, right? That's the obvious one. And you could maybe point to Valkyrie here on the Omen, who is kind of duelist light, right? Omen may be the closest to being a duelist on this squad, has great mobility tools, has some offensive pressure in both the blind and the smoke. But even then, you're absolutely right. There's not really a dedicated entry for the squad. But I mean, all eyes over towards Hinata, who has been making absolute fireworks appear throughout this game so far. And it looks like they might get an opportunity to hit it again, a little off the mark, a little to the left. And Nap Lovers, for the first time in this entire series, have claimed outside of C as their own.
They have indeed, but that also means that they need to keep walking. They can't just stay there because otherwise there's no information. The hit's about to come in through into tree. Prowler completely misses. The Bucky finds one. Asuna with a pick onto Zena, decides to re-swing. Hinata picks it up. Resurrection coming in as well. 5v4 situation. Reminder that Nap Lovers still have no guns. It's Sheriffs and it's Bandits, I believe I saw on Zoe in the back lines, as well as Mivinia TPing in. The wall goes up, as well as a deadlock sensor to prevent them from retaking effectively. Unique Valkyrie inside the position there. Rock Chomper misses too. I would say pretty decently easy shots, as well as Hinata picking up one more. Zoe left completely on her own, and Joblife taking control and not letting go.
Yeah, it was a really strong opening here, and it's almost devastating for Nap Lovers. Because a little bit of over-aggression, right? We saw the first shotgun kill come through. Very impactful. Instead of holding their ground, maybe looking to reposition or taking the gun from the opponent that fell. It was just, let's go for another peek. And at that point, the positioning was too wide. There wasn't really the range for the Bucky to do what it needed to do. And then the Resurrection was on the board as well. There's 4 other ultimates available for Nap Lovers here in this game, in this round. Surely that there is something that they can do with the Viper Pit, with the rocket launcher. They have to be able to put out some sort of pressure with all this utility.
They absolutely have to. I think this is definitely one of these crucial rounds that if Nap Lovers fail to swing this one in their favor with the utility they have and with the guns they actually now have as well, this could be a disaster for them. Showstopper coming out immediately, finds absolutely Swat.
No.
At the same time, the Deadlock ulti comes through, sees Zoe, takes her with him as Hinata finds a pick on Asuna, and now complete pandemonium. Ritsu being allowed to get inserted onto B while Joblife is pivoting. Rock Chomper's about to face a surprise bullet to the side of her head. And now Nap Lovers, their entire system has crumbled again.
That's devastating for Nap Lovers. But hold on, Mivinia might have something in the pocket here. 3 eaten, ripped away from existence. Only 1 left to find. But Cypher has the information. Ritsu knows exactly where Mavina is. And with only about 10 HP left to their name, it's just too big of a hill to climb. The last lifeline for Nap Lovers gets severed, and Joblife walk away with their 7th round in a row. But we're getting closer, Yulitson. With a few more plays like that, we might be able to see something, but we're back on the economic downslide for Nap Lovers.
Yeah, we indeed are. But even if you look at it, ult economy still firmly in the hands. If they pick up 1 or 2 frags early, investing these ults could be the key to success. I'm looking at that Steel Garden from the Vise being able to just instantly take the guns away from the opposition. Maybe that will be their winning cards, but it all hinges on getting 2 early frags, I would say. Popping these ults onto an eco is not ideal unless you have an opportunity to do so. And now with Joblife once again pivoting away from A after showing a little bit of presence. Rock Trumper and Mavina on the other hand in Sands ready to face, as well as R32 triggering the shear. And now the hit looks like it's about to come through. R32 opens the door, gets met with a sheriff shot to the face. Mavina seemingly waking up and trying so hard to stabilize Nap Lovers.
That's an excellent frag to get this round started. No resurrection on the side of Joblife to cancel it out. This time around, Asuna as well, trying to play this shotgun in tree yet again. But Nap Lovers are just going to step straight around. Hinata has made it into spawn. And look at where the rest of Joblife are coming. They are all on their way. And the information has come up null. But this time around, Lexa is expecting the shotgun in the corner. Asuna takes one. Zoe jumps out of her skin and presses the spacebar. Lexa skeet shooting takes her out of the sky. And now it's a 3v4 situation with the spike down on site.
How has Hinata not been punished for pushing up that aggressively with the operator all alone? How has that not happened now? Mavina jumps down, gets traded out by Unique Valkyrie while Lamy with the Bucky finds another one, but Lexa puts up 4 onto the board, says that you're not the only one that can activate, I can too. 8th round in a row for Joblife. Not a single round answered back from Nap Lovers. And I'm just seeing so many gaps in their plays. Hinata shouldn't have been allowed to push up that long with an operator, right? They're not really watching the lanes of approach into the A side. Sure, they're on a low buy, but sit in an off angle with a Bucky that isn't in tree so you can watch the lanes of approach. But that's just not happened from the side of Nap Lovers. And now they need to pick up 4 more rounds in this half. Otherwise, I would say it's absolutely over.
Things certainly are looking bad. The Nap Lovers, who are starting to dangle over a cliff of no return. Lamy in a decent spot, but with Decay coming through and a Prowler revealing their position, there's not much cover out there behind the gas wall to stop them from falling down. And while Asuna is here to provide some supportive fire, 1 player off the board, and R32 with a big flank. It's not even a flank. They're just pushing their own ankles. We'll find Mavina. And it's already 2 off the board for Nap Lovers. 3 players left. And none of these ultimates have been used, Yulit. So it feels like a lot of this utility is being held for a day that just will not come.
Face your fear.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. The Nightfall coming in. The 2v5 is questionable decision as well. How much can you really realistically get down? Asuna finds the first. Xena still in certain outside of B main, but that means that her teammates are disconnected from each other. Rock Trumper in the 1v3 situation, half HP left. Steel Garden ready as well, but Hinata's posted up on the angle with an operator, and this is a shot that she probably will not miss. She second guesses herself, but Rock Trumper's just sitting in the corner. Decides to venture a bit forwards. Risks walking into the gun barrel of Hinata, and oh, this is nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Misses the shot, but so does Rock Trumper. Wide swing. Shorty doesn't find her. But, she makes a good go at it. Time is starting to run a bit low, though.
Iron Garden is available, deciding, I guess, that there's not enough time on the map, but surely disabling the weaponry of Unique Valkyrie could have been the game changer there for this squad. But I just think there's so much hesitation, Yulitso, from this squad to use their utility. We're on defense. We have had the Viper's Pit for 5 rounds, and it has not been dropped once.
It pains me so much because they could have just pitted in B main last round. Just immediately offer it, pit it, deny it, sit in it with a shorty or with a judge or a bucky or anything really. Just use the ults. This isn't the banking system. You don't need to save. There is no interest on ult points. Just burn them when you have them for an opportunity. That's something that Joblife have been doing so beautifully this entire game, is that they've cycled their ultimates in a way that just gives them the advantage round after round after round after round, right? And I'm just not seeing the same proactivity from Nap Lovers. And I need that. I need to see that. Steel Garden on the A site. If she doesn't pop this on the hit when they come in towards the A site, I don't even know what to say anymore then. This is like, she is completely alone, detached by half a map from her teammates. Now is the opportunity to rip it, if nothing else, for delay. From the shadows, groups up together. Ritsu, on the other hand, finds Asuna in B main. Nablos are grouping up. It's a 5v4. Where are the ults?
Where are the ults? Indeed, Pit and Garden, both in the pockets. And I guess the value assessment here from Nap Lovers is, well, this isn't the right time. But if this is not the right time, what is? Finally, something has been outputted. Iron Garden comes through, denying the ability to use weapons for anyone caught inside it. But I don't think anybody was. The only player who was still alive was taken down with not much left to spare. And it's just too little too late, so it's a bad position to use it from. It's a bad spot to use it from. It's bad timing to use the Iron Garden. And now that it's off the board, only 2 rounds remaining in this half of the game, Viper Pit is still up. What are we going to do with these abilities?
Listen, all I need to see from this side, what I think is the only way that Nap Lovers can turn this round in their favor. You stack 3 on A like they've done. You put the Viper B. You just pit out into main immediately. You buy something like a shorty or a bucky or anything close range that does a little bit of damage.
Oh.
That is also okay. I will accept this. Don't peek long, and this will be fine.
Oh,
Never
no!
mind. They've just nabbed the Viper. They just nabbed the Viper. And the pit is for squat. Rock Trump is being chased out as well. Jenna and Unique Valkyrie have just cracked open the defenses. Oh my god. Asuna finds one with the Stinger. Still doable, but very difficult, especially if Hinata hits the shot like that. Asuna, the only one in CT, runs out of bullets behind the Sage Wall. And
everything.
my god, I'm just not seeing it. Ritsu's on the flank as well.
Everything.
Absolute disaster piece.
Everything is just completely unraveled for Nap Lovers, literally and figuratively. All that they needed to do was respect the Deadlock ultimate, and it could have been a solid denial of the C site, but no, instead, with a beautiful ultimate from Xena, Lammy was taken off the board without any value left for the Viper's Pit. And now with only 1 round left of the half, the best that Nap Lovers can do is put one more little bit of buffer between them and the second half of this game. But with an early pickoff of Zoe, that looks like an ever-darkening promise.
The situation is grim for the side of Nap Lovers. No ults left to go. Walls in their way for the C side, and Joblife have just taken all of this space essentially for free, cycling their ults so beautifully, using the From the Shadows early to pressure CT as well as the Neuro Theft from the Cypher to reveal the positioning of the opposition. And now this is nigh on impossible, especially if Xena finds one. Hinata trades Asuna as well. Only Rock Trumper left. Somehow, if this goes to an ace, I don't know what I will do, but this would be generational.
I don't think even with an ace that they have enough time to pick up the spike as well, as you can hear it ticking away. They maybe had 15 seconds total until the end of the spike's detonation, and it's just not enough time. Too much pressure, and Nap Lovers feel like maybe they need to get a few more hours of sleep because they feel lethargic and unpresent here on Lotus. And as we look to potentially close up this map, Yulitso, it is going to take a flawless offensive side from Nap Lovers to bring them to overtime just to be in with a chance at maybe bringing this one back.
This is a tall order for any team. We've seen massive comebacks at every stage of Valorant, whether that be ranked or in the VCT, right? The 111 down NRG versus Fnatic at Champions. I've personally pulled off a 0-12 half as well in ranked. But just the way this looks, the form these two teams have been holding, Joblife ever so disciplined. I'm not seeing it.
It's
Lamy
yeah,
now,
it's
it's dire. Lamy lurks up, sees Lexa. Prowler coming out, and Hinata has denied the B site already. This triple Sentinel side now really showing its prowess, especially like that. 3 players left on Nap Lovers only, about to walk into the C side. Unique Valkyrie here, ready to meet them. Oh, doesn't find anything. Nap Lovers with an advantage, numbers advantage. Their best chance yet to find and pick up a round.
One enemy remaining.
And it's 2 big pickups there from Ritsu. Zoe falls, and it's just down to Rock Jumper now. Ritsu doesn't have a lot of HP, but doesn't really matter when it doesn't look like... Hold on, Rock Jumper able to find that one. Not a lot of HP on the Cypher. With enough juggling, there might be an opportunity for Rock Jumper, who surely knows that it's half, can hear the difference. The damage is coming through. They're in a good position, but Lexa has the right angle and the right shots. And despite what might have been the best attempt at a defusal denial that we've seen from Rock Jumper, it just is not enough. Not enough time, not enough space, not enough naps for this squad to get any sort of ground. And we're going to have to see how they perform on Pearl, because Lotus certainly was not their map.
Definitely not. And I think it's time for them to actually have a little chat in between, talk a little bit amongst themselves, get a good sit rep of the situation. It's time to wake up from the naps that they look like they've been taking. 13-0 is a rough start to map 1, but if you can mentally reset for the next one, that would be absolutely massive for this team. A lot of what I think is easy mistakes that really shouldn't be happening. For example, like at the very last round, Rock Trump had Util left in her belt, had a flash, had a Thorns to just do some passive damage if they move in it. It's just unfortunate, and I think that mental reset is what we need for the next round.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of a comp shift, a little bit of an identity shift. Something needs to change for Nap Lovers, but we'll have to see what adaptations that they make heading into game number 2 after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Game Changers Cash Cup, where we just witnessed Joblife. I don't want to say the word eviscerated, but let's just say Nap lovers are definitely feeling the pain as we head into Pearl.
Tis but a flesh wound. Yeah, Pearl being a map that Joblife picked, which also means that Nap Lovers gets to pick which side they start on, and I'm hoping they bring something to the table that is, let's just say, of more substance than what they did on Lotus.
Yeah, it was a rough performance from them, something to do with the composition that they brought forward, as well as the mechanical play. Let's say it felt like very much they were outclassed in almost every single fight against Joblife in the gunplay itself. So this is, but this is a team that is starting to emerge. They haven't necessarily had the experience that Joblife had, that this roster has got under them. So this is a potentially big stepping stone up for Nap lovers, making it to this stage of a Game Changer Cash Cup. So it's just going to be, I think, for me, looking at Pearl, I think it's all going to come down to how well they can showcase themselves, not even necessarily to win, but to put their best foot forward and showcase their strengths as a team.
Yeah, and I think as well, Pearl being one of these maps that you can see so many very different comps on Pearl. Pearl being, I believe, one of the few maps that are still viable for the nerfed duelists in Tier 1. We've seen some Euro play on Pearl this past week in Tier 1. So Pearl, as a map, is just very versatile. Depends on how you want to play things and how these teams want to run it. And I'm hoping, and I'm honestly expecting to see a better showing from the side of Nap lovers.
Yeah, that's the hope, right? Maybe the secret is that they are very, very good with the Neons and the Yorus, and that was what was holding them back from playing well in Lotus. We did see the Rays come out, which, it's a bit of a controversial pick, right? A lot of people still really like the Rays, think that she's really, really strong. Some other people think that she's maybe not the best duelist in the stack at the moment. So playing something that's a little bit more off kilter, maybe, that they just are really good at, could be the answer that Nap lovers need.
Of course, and I think as well, playing into Joblife's comp of Triple Sentinel No Duelist was also probably a lot, like very difficult to cope with, playing into a comp that you probably haven't faced before in ranked, or a comp that you just don't know how to handle, because you're used to duelist, you're used to having that explosive entry power on the opposing side that you can play against. And I think Nap Lovers being forced now to reset and rethink could help them to perform this map.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true and valid. I think having that experience against a squad is almost as important, right? So I think it'll be down to see how Job Life want to play Pearl. Again, this is a very big, very open map that does lend itself quite well to locking down a particular site with a Sentinel. So whether or not they choose to run back to this triple Sentinel composition, if they choose to maybe play a little bit lighter on the Sentinels, I think will be very interesting. I think either way, Nap Lovers have a mountain to climb heading into game 2.
Absolutely. It is a mountain to climb, but every journey starts with a step, and every step starts with committing to it mentally. And I think that's what we want to see mostly, is for Nap Lovers to maybe find their composure again. Have that close pistol round that they had in the beginning, in both the beginning and the end of last map. They had 2 very close pistol rounds that they just unfortunately couldn't close out. And if they can close out a pistol round, that is already better than what they did last map, and maybe they can carry that momentum forward. Now, we've talked a lot about Nap Lovers, but let's talk a little bit about Job Life Game Changers as well. What did you see anything that Job Life did last map that you would say stuck out as a standout thing that made them win so convincingly?
I think just taking advantage of the dreadful amount of utility they had on this composition. I mean, the amount of times that we saw an initiation off the back of Hinata blocking off a sight line or just a full area, combined with the vision utility provided by Fade, I think there was a lot there to say that the strength of this squad was in their utility and in their mechanical skill. I mean, Yuli, it's sometimes just as simple as they shot their guns better. And 9 times out of 10, I feel like that is the big answer, is that that felt like very few times when Nap Lovers were really able to gain a advantage that wasn't immediately shut down by just aiming worse.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that's also one of the situations where, especially in these tournaments like Cash Cup, where it's open circuit that anyone can sign up, is that you really have to try to play to your strengths. And if I were Nap Lovers, I don't know if they have a coach or if they're just talking with each other, but if I were Nap Lovers coach now, I'd probably be talking about, right, how do you beat a team that you know is mechanically most skilled, right? It's the 3 O's. It's the Odin, it's the operator, and it's the judge. You just stick it into the corner. You play these weird angles that the enemies maybe aren't expecting. You maybe pull out an esoteric comp, or you just have to, we saw this from Nap Lovers as well, just not overextend too much, right? Play to your advantages, because a lot of times they got an advantage and then they made a fundamental macro mistake that just cost them the end of the round. And I hope that they've talked a little bit between these maps and mentally reset, maybe had a cup of tea or a glass of water to just get their head back into the game.
And sometimes that is all you need. Sometimes you just need a bit of a breather, a bit of a drink. I think I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the first person to bring up how Valorant is an incredibly mental-based game. But for an esport that is 50% on the keyboard and mouse, 50% in the brain, I think there is something to be said for, well, if you start a game going 0-4, it will color the rest of the match. And that's the best teams in Valorant, in Counter-Strike, in any esport like this. The best teams will be the teams that can stay consistent despite being in a losing position. So the big question now is, on Nap Lovers, do they have those players that can hold on to their mental, steel themselves, and come back into this series having wiped away game 1, right? We want to see them having learned from it without carrying over that stress and that pain from losing that first game.
Yeah, Job Life as well, having the momentum of a 13-0 behind them, need to carry that momentum forward. So we're seeing the difference in how these teams need to approach the Pearl, with Job Life trying to and needing to hold on to the feeling of just running the opposition over. Meanwhile, Nap Lovers, they need to just take some time to reset. 5 cloves is not an opportunity. That's not something you can do, but we'll see.
Is this
Yeah,
clove roulette?
yeah, the club roulette thing was just what I was about to say. But you're seeing as well, like, while Nap Lovers is club roulette, we can talk a little bit about Joblife GC, right? Just right under me. That's a more standard pro comp. That's kind of what I
Sure.
was expecting out of a 10-year roster like Joblife, that they weren't gonna play the crazy triple senti comp. I was expecting more stuff like this, right? Hinata on the jet, obviously showcasing that she can op, she can entry.
Yeah.
So the double duelist with the Killjoy Fade and Astra as the supporting pieces, I think that is more what I expect out of a roster like Joblife. So yeah, I'm seeing that as their strength now, is that they're playing a more normal composition, if you were to put it like that.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Nap Lovers is God knows what they're gonna get.
Yeah, and I feel like this maybe harkens back to the more predictability of Pearl. On Lotus, there are a lot of places that you can rat out, that you can play these weird kind of compositions that lead to interesting plays and more different kinds of comps being viable. On Pearl, you need to play this more standardly. You need to have a more baseline approach to it. And the roulette has weirdly worked out. I mean, Chamber incredibly strong on this map. Clove, very good. Cypher has great utility for the A site. My biggest questions are Raze and Waylay. Probably not the duelists that I would pick on Pearl, but they're
Yeah,
not the worst characters.
Not the ones I would pick, but also like in general, I'd say I'm a bit concerned about Clove being the sole smoker, as well as not having an initiator. I'm a bit concerned about that. But honestly, I could see this as a way for Nap Lovers to steal their mental, to solidify a feeling of we're here to have fun, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're just playing this kind of crazy comp that you wouldn't really see anyone pick, you're just kind of here to have fun. And I could honestly see this working out great for them if they just remember to have fun. And who knows, maybe some of these agents are their comfort picks. Maybe, I don't know, someone's on Nap Lover is just really good at Waylay.
Yeah,
it's a duelist that we have seen play. Waylay has seen play in the past, and you know, she's not a bad duelist. Sure, she's not as good as she was before with the whole saturate nerf, but it's still a good duelist.
Yeah, you know, I think Waylay has a lot of unique strengths as a duelist and can bring a lot of that to Pearl, especially, you know, the double dash. It's good rotation fodder. You can get into some areas and lines that people might not be expecting you to. Although, no, I'm not going to discredit Joblife by saying that they're not familiar with where Waylay can and cannot get to on Pearl. But more so, you know, it's not like you're worried about Phoenix double dashing into heaven on B site, you know, up onto the catwalk and getting ahead of some smokes. So it's interesting. It could throw Joblife off. My main concern is how are they going to really solidify these angles? Mid is looking like a giant question mark for me, because while Cypher can lock down A pretty much by himself, Chamber has a pretty good time holding on to the B site. There's only really Clove to try and lock down these mid angles, and then you have to kind of play filler with these two duelists. So I'm a bit concerned as to how this comp is going to play out, especially that we're going to see it on defense first.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about the Clove, obviously having their post death smokes nerfed into the ground of only 6 seconds. I'd say I'm concerned to see how this is going, but I would say that we're seeing quite the setup what I'm expecting to see, right? The Cypher on the B side trying to hold it alone with a hard stack towards A. This is exactly what Nap Lovers needs to do, and now we're just gonna jump straight into it. Close smoke to cut off the angle. Joblife seeking their way into mid now. Nap Lovers spreading back out to solidify a defense. Joblife is about to test Lamy in mid. Peeks out. Lamy finds the first one with the help of the Cypher tripwire. Zoe, in the meanwhile, on the other hand, slowly scaling up. Asuna finds Lexa. This is what we wanted to see from Nap Lovers. This early advantage, and now looks like they might try to pinch them in mid. Lamy is about to be tested. Finds the first, the second, and the third. Lamy wakes up immediately. Already more kills in this one round than the entirety of last map.
That's an incredible start to this game. Nap are able to, I mean, pick a percentage. It's the amount that they've improved. You can't put an increment on 0, but 1 round on the board is certainly a great place to start their road to redemption. Joblife will have to respond to that, whether or not it will be an aggressive response or whether it'll be something like this where it looks like maybe we're just going for a similar play here, an aggressive push through middle, a quick run out into Art, and what looks to be a quick A hit, but the smokes have come out and Clove has already proved their utility, but it's just one bit of utility. That's pretty much all the smokes expended for this character now.
Information gained already. They're about to push into Lammy again. Tested, doesn't stand the test. Rock Trumper is about to be pinchy with just an outlaw in the hand. Athena's on the other side, ready to support. And now they're about to be funneled into a pincer. Hinata, 1 HP left. Not much left to do. And they pick up a very convincing second round, only losing Lammy and Rock Trumper in their place. 2 outlaws going into round 3. This is an iteration of Map Lovers that I love to see after that first map.
So here's my question, Yuli. This is... Now that we have seen Joblife run away with Nap Lover's map pick, are we going to see something similar happen on the flip side? Now, we have very, very early doors. Round 3 about to come through with a full gun round from Joblife and no guns on the other side, minus 2 outlaws and 2 sheriffs. So this is very much a round that we have an advantage on here on the attacker's side. It looks like an aggressive start from Nap. Might try and find something. Mavina is able to get a trade very much in favor of the defending team.
And now the 1-for-1 trade is in favor of Nap Lovers. I mean, Joblife have grouped out outside of B and they're just slowly making their way back. A gun picked up for the side of Nap, and now the gun advantage isn't even that heavy towards Joblife, except Asuna falls to the Vandal of Unique Valkyrie, and now the B side is being left open. Question marks in the defensive setup. 3 players from Joblife moving in towards mid, about to meet the Vandal of Lammy, spotted out by the Prowler. Lammy's about to be tested here. Sees the first, doesn't find the frag. Still sticking around to test. I'm not sure this is the play. Especially not if Hinata just answers back with one of her own, and now only Rock Trumper and Mavinia left to try to close out this round for Nap Lovers.
Yeah, it's going to be a sprint finish over towards the B site. Only Chamber here only Cypher here to try and block this one off. All the utility in the world has come through. Chamber is starting to make the way over. It's going to be Hinata in an odd corner. Sheriff shot could be huge here, but Rock Jumper not able to connect. Now only 1 player left standing. It's all down to Mavinia. But in an expected move, an expected outcome, this will be the first round to go in favor of Joblife. It was the first full buy. And now Nap have the opportunity to buy up for themselves. We're going to see those weapons come on through. But actually, I'm having a look at the economy. I'm not sure what happened in the last round here. So Zoe has no money. Asuna doesn't have, well, enough to realistically prop themselves up. And unless something changes in the last few seconds of this buy, never mind, we've got a tech pause here. But something very interesting has happened to Zoe's economy.
Yeah, I'm seeing a tech pause as well. And I think what might be is not that Zoe doesn't have any economy, but that overlay maybe isn't working properly. I've seen it before.
That would make more sense.
I saw Asuna flash an operator for just half a second earlier, and I like it. I like that. I like the thought of maybe getting an operator online already around 4. The big gun obviously being able to maybe even out the differences a bit in the mechanics. We've seen it multiple times in other tournaments where maybe the mechanically weaker team has bought an operator into a stronger team and just makes it work. But yeah, I mean, the first 2 rounds very convincing from Nap. Now the question is, have Joblife completely stopped their momentum, or can Nap try to find their way back in?
And that's going to be the question, right? They've got a small lead here, but whether or not they can maintain it is going to be the important part of this game. So far, they definitely look more comfortable on Pearl, or at the very least, maybe it's Joblife don't look as comfortable on Pearl as they did on Lotus. So we'll have to see which side of that coin is the reality. But for now, it is a full set of guns from the side of Joblife. Meanwhile, we will have to see what the result will be from Nap as this tech pause resolves. Hopefully, it looks like we might have a bit of a glitch in the game showing, yeah, it's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yuli, it's the glitch for the spectator bug there showing us no money on Zoe, just waiting to figure out the tech pause.
Yeah, and we've gotten word from production as well that the text pause is due to Zoe unfortunately disconnecting from the game. So while that is being resolved, we have a little opportunity to sit here and chat about literally anything. Let's talk a little bit about Pearl. Not specifically this match, but just in general. Give me your top 2 agents on Pearl, because it's fun.
Top 2 agents
To
on
play,
Pearl
to play,
because it's fun.
for you to play.
Okay, I think for me to play personally,
Mhm.
I would say Neon is definitely on there. I'm a duelist player, right? So if I'm not playing Neon, I probably will be playing Raze. I'll be honest with you, they're 2 of my favorite characters to pilot, even though I know Raze isn't necessarily the best in show. Neon certainly has looked better in other days as well.
Raze is nasty if you're good at her, though. I dread facing good Raze players in my comp games.
I like to think that's me. The amount of hours that I've put into the map training, just like on a closed map with infinite cooldowns, practicing my satchel jumps, only for them to nerf the satchel jump range, which curse you, Riot Games.
Yeah. I mean, hey, sometimes that's exactly what you need, right? Balance in game, and now it looks like Zoe is back up to moving, so I'm assuming the tech pause will be over very shortly. And I mean, I'm liking this. I'm liking this look. I'm liking this look from Nap Lovers in general, having more of a defensive setup somehow than more than the last game. Even though the comp is, I'd say, slightly more weird.
Yeah, the comp may be a little bit less traditional, but seemingly it's working, and you maybe hit the nail on the head in the picks and bans, Yuli, having that just random fun moment. Yeah, you know what? We lost game 1. Let's have some fun with it. We're gonna clove stack and see what happens. Sometimes that's exactly the kind of energy you need to bring into a match like this to help bring you back into reality. And as we continue on with this tech pause, I do wonder if maybe it's time to throw it to a quick break while we resolve. That was a question, not necessarily a statement. So we'll wait on confirmation for that. But in the meantime, you know what? Same question back to you. You're playing Pearl. What are your 2 go-to picks?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of an operator crutch, so Jet Chamber are my 2 picks always. It's just easy to play the operator on Jet Chamber as well. I have a few good chamber setups that I can use that oftentimes throw off the opposition. I'm not gonna say that like, oh, I'm a fantastic player. I'm gold too, but still, you know, it's just good fun. Pearl is actually one of my favorite maps. I've been enjoying Pearl a lot, even like since I started playing Valorant. I've gone through so many agents on Pearl, so many different eras. But I gotta say, I actually quite like the current meta. It's might be a hot take.
You know, I got my start playing Valorant just after Pearl released, and I don't know if it's a bit of recency bias in terms of that's what I, quote, came up with, or if it's, you know, whatever, but I actually really like Pearl, and I always have. But, folks, we are going to throw on to a quick break while we wait for this tech issue to resolve, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. And of course, the moment we decide to send it off to a break is when the tech issue gets resolved, but that means that nobody is around waiting any longer. We can get straight back into the game and witness how this squad is going to bring this one back. Nap Lovers currently up 2-1 against Joblife, who have got one full map underneath them. Nap Lovers need to win map 2 if they want to be in for a chance at moving through onto the quarterfinals. Yuli, we're about to head back into Pearl.
I'm very excited about that. It's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, again, like we're talking about like Joblife Game Changers being a team of an organization that has been in Pro Valorant for a very long time. This is what I can only assume that Nap Lovers is a team of friends, that is a 5-stack of friends that usually play Valorant together, maybe play Premier or other smaller Game Changers tournaments. And I mean, having the resilience or like the pressure, I guess, a little bit of playing against us. I get what I'm assuming is both a salaried team. That's got to be huge. So let's throw it back into game and see how Nap Lovers can respond on a 4-buy round.
And it will, in fact, be a 4-buy from both squads, although armor potentially lacking from Nap. We're missing some full shields from a few different players, and looks like Zoe wasn't able to pick up anything before the round restarted, so we'll have to see how that impacts the round going forward. So far, though, Nap does have the advantage, already taking Valkyrie off the board.
Asuna with that operator that I was talking about earlier, flashing it out and then picking it up, and an easy frag in B main. The reposition also in place. Joblife are moving towards the A side. Mavinia, huge pickup. Zoe, the second. Can she find the third? Flash comes in, dodges out. The refract, not enough to save her, but Xana faces the music with Asuna's operator, just doing all the work. What a speedy response from that.
Sometimes you just need those funnels, and a good chain kill from Mavina and Zoe will be enough to secure map that 3rd point of the game. And this is important. This could be the turning point. Yulit, so we are seeing a team potentially coming into their own here. A team that has some potential, and a team that feels a lot more locked in than they were in game number 1. Very rarely did we see those kinds of chain kills. Mavina did have one triple earlier on in game number 1. But this time, we need to see that consistency. We need to see those kinds of plays translate into recurring moments as another push onto A comes through.
And Mavinia tucked in the corner with Lamy as support. Lamy finds the second one. Unique Valkyrie inside the smoke, gets picked off. And now once again, advantage to Nap. Joblife on their low buy. So much to do. The sheriff shot's not really landing for Lexa, and Zoe picks up another one of her own. Ritsu and Xena left alone in A main with so much to do, and Zoe just scouts it out a little bit with the light speed. Mavinia has the reactions ready as well. Nap not willing to give out anything for free here.
No, they want to stay tight, and if you have a look at the map, there's not this kind of weird split rotation that we were seeing a little bit on Lotus. This is a unified squad that knows where they want to be and knows how they want to play together, and right now, we're pushing through. It's just Ritsu left standing, and while she is able to find one, they will translate that off into a kill for themselves, and Nap will walk away 4 points richer, 3 points the senior of their counterparts. And Joblife, they've got to be starting to feel the pinch here. They are already going to have to be on a weird half economic buy here. Both their duelists set to be on pistols, while the rest of the squad brandishing vandals, so it will have to be down to the levels of utility that they can find in this round, but just 1 point away from getting those blades. Hinata close to ultimate.
I'm completely certain that that's what they're going to try to do, farm the orbs, and such is the case. Asuna responds fast. Hinata has their blades, not for this round, but for the next one. What a performance we've seen from Asuna and that operator right now. 4 players left on the side of Joblife. Ritsu takes some heavy damage from Lami's Vando. The response instant from Joblife, starting the rotation over to A. But look at the positioning of Mavinia, and look at Zoe as well, creeping up, waiting to play for that trademark to maybe find an early pick. Mavinia in this slight bit of an off angle could go huge if Unique Valkyrie decides to overstep.
4v5 situation. And Joblife need to play slow, but 40 seconds left on the clock will not afford them all that much time. A pick onto Mavina will open up the A site for them. They'll need to take advantage of it. Walls go up and the world will be divided. 30 seconds left and the spike is coming down. Zoe has an opportunity to come on through the fast lane. Will take down or provide an opportunity at the very least. And Asuna dipping through has the rocket fuse. Not quite able to translate that into much else. Senna still in a great position to find two for themselves, and now Rock Chomper left all by themselves.
Cannot clutch out the round, but man, they made it look close. Forced Joblife to burn one of their big ults, which is the Cosmic Divide. But now, once again, we're coming back into the talk about the ult economy, right? Aston and Zoe both popping their ults, the Convergent Paths, as well as the Showstopper, and Joblife as well, taking this time to check in with each other and have a little chat about what is going on. Lockdown ready for this round, as well as the Blades. 2 off the Run It Back and 1 off the Nightfall as well. Joblife seemingly set up to be able to take a few rounds with just ults.
Back into the timeout. It feels like this has been a game of pauses here, Yuli, but this one is actually an in-game mechanic, intentional. In fact, not necessarily a technical difficulty. And this is a very important tool for teams to pause a game and kind of think about where they want to go with it. In this case, Joblife taking the opportunity to pause, breathe, reflect, and make sure that they can come back into the next round and try and maintain this momentum, right? Sometimes it's important, or it can be important, to make your opponent sit with a loss and really over-analyze it and internalize it. We'll have to see how that pause has played out for them. Nap sitting 2 points in the lead still, but this is not an insurmountable one. And Joblife have shown us already that they have the potential to fight back into it.
Definitely. We're still seeing Athena with the Operator again, picking up the long gun that has done so much damage already towards Joblife. But Joblife now looking to respond back. They have the Killjoy ult, they have the lockdown potentially. And now the stun coming in as well leaves both Lavinia and Zoe off their positions. Zena gets a chance to farm up one of the ult orbs and is now not that far off, only one of the Run It Back. So ults heavily in favor of Joblife on the way now. But Lamy has worked her way all the way up through spawn. Depending on how she does this. Oh, she is caught behind by Ritsu. Asuna chance to do damage. She does. Hinata falls. The beacon in the last map does not stand anymore in this round.
For a player that had such a spectacular showing in game number 1, it's surprising to see Hinata being shut down so frequently, but it is just Asuna with this Operator shutting them down from getting these offensive plays. Here comes the party stopper. Everyone has to back away from the A site, but look at this positioning. Mavina has the perfect angle, but it is going to be blocked out. Astra Smoke, the perfect opportunity to close that one away, and even though Zoe finds a good angle into the back, she's going to be locked out of the site. Zena picks up one for themselves as well. Now Nap in a very bad spot.
Asuna, through the tiniest little gap in the smoke, finds one with the Operator, looks to get another one, finds the wall bang, and now Lexa in a very awkward spot gets killed. 5 seconds on the clock. There's no time to plant. Nap win on time, and Asuna with her 4th this round and a classic. My God. She has woken up and decided that she is not here to play. She is here to frag.
That was an incredible round from what is turning out to be the major lifeline of this squad. Asuna, 11 and 12, and has just proven to be so incredibly potent. Raze, not necessarily a character that you would necessarily marry those thoughts in your brain, right? You wouldn't look at Raze and go, oh yeah, this character is what I want to be playing if I want to be a main AWPer. But right now, I'm looking at Asuna thinking to myself, why would I not want to play Raze all day, every day? Joblife, they've had such a struggle pushing into just about any angle because wherever they look, Nap is waiting for them to push.
Yeah, what a situation this is. Turns out, again, Joblife on the back foot, economically speaking. Unique Valkyrie has been spotted out. Mavinia, absolutely zero mercy through the box. And now Rock Trumper is about to be tested. Hinata has her Blade Storm. And there's a flash coming out, maybe. No flash. Hinata's jumped in. Head taken off by Rock Trumper. No cage to protect Rock Trumper. 3 to her name. Well, Zena picks her off with the fire, but instant response from Nap, guaranteed even halftime and a chance to just keep extending.
And that is exactly what they need to do here. 6-2. Yes, they're on the defense. And I think a lot of people would argue, Yuli, that Pearl is a defense-heavy map. It can be very difficult to crack some of these sites. And that's, you know, I think very well illustrated here by the fact that Joblife are so good at breaking onto these sites. We saw how well they were able to pop and get themselves into position on Lotus, but now here on Pearl, they are struggling.
They are struggling against the defensive side of Nap. Sure, they sometimes get the first frag, but Nap just being able to hold down their positions. Lamy with the potential to find one more, doesn't. Rez not coming through either, and now they're speeding up towards the A site. Nap are about to be tested. Asuna with the operator and backside. Sees Dena, finds the kill as well. Asuna once again looking to be the difference maker. Seized up by the Seized up by the Seized. Hinata finds the frag as well, but the Boombot trades them back. 2v2 now. Hats off from Rock Trumper. Spots out the positioning of both players onto the map. And now Zoe and Rock Trumper with a lot to do on their hands. Zoe finds the first one with the Outlaw. Second one with the Classic. Nap in over. They've woken up and decided that we're taking control, and they're guaranteeing themselves a lead at halftime.
And this is a team that is finally in the driver's seat. They found their groove, they found their rhythm, and they are running through this game. Joblife, they need to find at least 2 or 3 more rounds to have a comfortable chance at the second half of this map. Right now, it is looking like they are struggling even to get themselves into position. But the big question is going to be, Yuli, how well are Nap going to play this on the attack side? Right? That's where we're going to have to see if this consistency will follow through on the other side of the map, or if Joblife, with this very routine, very quintessential composition for this map, will be able to lock down these sites and do what Nap are doing to them now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of these team comps could do really well on both sides. Was that a tag with the operator? I think I heard a tag, and now the flash coming through as well. The Outlaw not finding anything. Lamy swings into 4 of them. The Rez coming through as well. It is absolute pandemonium. Lamy won 7 HP. Cannot find another one. Lexa with a third of the round, but still, even fight 3v3. Weapons still firmly in the hands of Nap. Mavinia is about to be tested here. The Prowler is going the wrong direction. They have no idea. Mavinia locks down the first. Looking for a second and maybe a third. Showstopper coming in as well. Asuna looking to chase. Unique Valkyrie eats it. And now Ritsu left in the, I'd say, nigh on impossible 1v3. And Rock Trumper says, we are stopping you. 8 rounds convincingly from the side of Nap Lovers.
It has been a brutal defensive side for Joblife. They have not been able to get any sort of momentum going for themselves. And they really need to find these last 2 rounds if they are in for a hope of taking this map away and finishing the series in just 2 games. Because that is the reminder here, folks. If Nap are able to secure this map, they do give themselves a lifeline. They will take us back over to Split, where they will be in for one final chance to prove that they are the team that belongs to be in the quarterfinals here in the Game Changer Cash Cup.
Absolutely, and we're seeing this early aggression as well being stopped out. The B site being left a bit empty, but Rock Trumper getting all the information that she needs, calling her teammates over to rotate. And what I'm looking at is calling Asuna over to rotate. The running back pop immediately from Zena. She's running straight forwards. Lamy stops her in her tracks. Rock Trumper is at backside, is locked down into the corner by the Nano Swarm. Finds 2 then slows it down. Convergent pass now ready. Asuna has a bomb. Boombot sees 1. Can she stop the plant? Oh, she just jumps. Does not care with the shorty in towards the site. Zena does some damage, and now Joblife a real chance to close down the 3rd round. Lavinia wants to put an end to this and put a stop to this, but just no info to be had. And Xena with a headshot onto Lavinia puts it up to 3.
A solid clutch there from Joblife, and they absolutely needed it. 3 points now is not necessarily going to be the worst half of their life. If they can put one more on the board here right at the end, it might just salvage the half and give them enough space to maneuver in the second half of this game. Defense definitely should be a better side for this roster. We've seen how well that they can do on that offensive, on the defensive side. We'll have to see. However, Chamber has popped the tour de force and has it available to operators standing by, but Asuna misses the first shot here on A Long.
Cosmic Divide coming in as well. Asuna stalls with a grenade. Hinata eats some damage to her feet. Asuna picks off Lexa with the operator. So lethal. Stands right in front of the wall with a shorty, just daring anyone to peek through. And they all swing through the wall at the same time. Disadvantage in the hands of Joblife, and Lamy does not care. Nothing to be found for Joblife. 9-3 half. Nap extended themselves ever so closer to that third map that they are looking for.
And it all comes down to this, Yuli. The pistol round here in the second half could be the decider. This could be enough to put them on the map. If Nap are able to win this one, they get this round, they get the next round on the half econ from Joblife. That puts them up to 11, just 2 shy of winning the entire series, or the entire map, sorry, and pushing forward, progressing this series. On the flip side, Joblife, they need to pull it out of the bag. And again, if they win the pistol round, they've got at least one more in the bag, pretty much, which basically makes the score 9-5, right? So this could go either way, depending on who wins this first round.
Definitely so. Nap seemingly guessing perfectly where their opposition is. The B site is the empty site right now. Only Unique Valkyrie at the backside with a ghost, having to do everything while her team tries to rotate in. Asuna is about to in for a nasty surprise.
No.
Just kidding. She responds back with a classic of her own, and now advantage in the hand of Nap. They have the site, they have the plant. It's planted for long, and now forcing Joblife onto an awkward retake with no smokes. Lexa as well out of utility. I'm not really seeing any proactivity from either of the teams. They're just waiting for it. Flashpoint coming out from the top. Hinata's dashed in, eats a bullet to the head through the wall. She is low HP. Ritsu in the meantime finds Asuna. Lamy and Zoe trading it back and forth. Rock Chomper, a little bit of a whiff in backside. But now it's just quiet.
It doesn't matter how positive the trades are in favor of Joblife. If they cannot secure themselves the opportunity to go for the defuse, it's all or nothing now. If they can't stick this, they can't win the round. But Ritsu holds, and Zoe falls. Number 4 on the board for Joblife as they recover, and they're back on their feet.
Back on their feet, indeed. They are trying to take control of the horse that is running away. And now a chance to actually put up another round on the board. This defensive side being so important for Joblife to figure out how will you do the setup. And I think this is the same thing that I talked about last game. It's the unpredictability of their opposition that made it so difficult to predict what to do. And now it looks like we have another technical pause.
And the whole map breathes for just a moment as we try and recollect and recover from the intensity of that first round. Yuli, it was truly something. And now we have to see how that will be translated through. Nap needs to keep their heads on their shoulders. Right now in this corner, Ritsu distracted. Shotgun, doesn't matter that you're looking the other way. Oops, all kills. Zoe is able to find the trade-off there, but 2 of the judge will be explosive to start the round.
My God, Asuna in the meantime has walked up all the way onto the B site, has the spot of Lavinia behind her as well. It gets picked off by Unique Valkyrie's Bulldog, and now maybe only going for the plant for that extra 300 credits. Lavinia taking out 77 HP as well. Zoe in long, both of them no real weapons to speak of. The Headhunter from Lavinia does good damage now with the 1v2. I won't say it's winnable, especially depending on how Xena and Hinata decide to play this together. Lavinia ventures forwards. doesn't really stick the landing, but made it very close considering the economic situation of the beginning of this round.
And that is exactly as we predicted, right? They win the pistol, they have that opportunity to progress into the bonus, and it's going to come down to this one, right? Lammy, we can't see Zoe's economics, but we assume that they are something comparable to the rest of her squad. How well can Joblife fight into this full buy with their hodgepodge of bulldogs and vandals with a few pistols on the side? It's going to be important because if Nap are able to win this, then they have a chance to come back into the round. Not that there isn't plenty of time for them to do so anyway, but Joblife really, really need to win this one. They want to give themselves as much space as possible.
Zena gets a free orb right there, and now they have to invest utility into taking this. There's so much uncertainty. Meanwhile, Joblife are walking up in mid, perhaps looking for a cheeky little flank. The trademark spotted out, but not fully in range yet, destroying it, notifying Nap of their presence in their backline. Rock Trumper now having a lot of questions being asked about how their backline is looking.
Nap
Here.
slowly edging around the map, trying to figure out which site that they would rather go towards. It looks like A for the moment, with some scouts around B and towards mid, and looks like it will be the decision to push towards where Chamber is holding on to as Joblife start to expand their search out into mid. R32 and Hinata are holding here, but it looks like the presence will come from A main. Smokes will fall down, and here comes the push, but Zena is in a great position with a flashbang. Ritsu's right behind them, finds two in the smoke alongside Hinata, and it's all falling apart already for Nap.
Mavinia whiffs, doesn't find Hinata while Zena finds Asuna as well. Rock Trumper being left in the impossible 1v5 situation with 10 seconds on the clock. This is just simply not happening in Joblife, seemingly putting themselves in the driver's seat and taking control of this situation. Nap currently haven't answered back on the attacking side.
3 rounds in a row, and this lead is disappearing step by step. This is exactly what Joblife needed to get done here. Nap call for the timeout. They need to reset their mental, especially now that they are once again in an economic disposition. They do not have the weaponry or the money that they need to stop Joblife from picking up round 7 and closing this gap even tighter. What do they need to do? What needs to be the next step for the squad to get out of this little bit of a funk that they find themselves in?
Honestly, I think with just looking at their composition, at Nap's composition, just slam a site. I think honestly that's just slam the site. Just pick one site, don't hesitate, and punch yourself through. Because if you look at Joblife's comp, right, they don't have a lot of stalling utility, right? It's the Killjoy Uto that Nap have seen set up in mid before, which means it's not ready for the sites. Sure, the Fade Seized and the Phoenix Molly could cause some problems, but you could easily push past them if you just slam it fast enough. And I think that's maybe, especially on a low buy, what I really want to see Nap do is maybe just buy up a bunch of stingers and slam a site, right? Use Rock Trumper's Vandal as the clearing for B main holding those long angles, and then when you all walk up towards the entrance, just slam it with Yuto. I think that's all that's needed, to be honest.
And now here 6-9. For Joblife, they need to extend this lead out. We'll have to see if Nap can do, as you said, and get themselves back into this one. However, already taking a giant chunk of their health bar, 10 HP left on Cypher. Rock Chomper certainly not very happy about that one. But you still have the timeout button on the screen, so do not be fooled by your television. This is not the timeout. 2 people were just murdered in cold blood by Jet.
Hinata finally waking up on her own and finding those 2 crucial frags, and now evening out the scoreline and also evening out the difference in rounds. Joblife looking to rush away to a 7th round, closing the gap. And Asuna, the only one with a rifle on the side of Nap, tries so desperately, sees Yuto, shoots out one of the nades. Joblife question marks in the back line.
Spotted out by the turret.
30 seconds left.
And here they go,
Wait.
trying to push over towards the A site. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Valkyrie gets the better side of it, though. Zoe only so much HP, but with a wide flick and a swing, they'll trade yet again. Zoe falls down, but now it's a 1v3 situation. Marinia has been in these before, but with only 14 seconds left on the clock, the spike is in the hands of the Chamber. But they have to get past the defenders first, which is going to be a bridge too far. And that'll close out this lead even further. Only 2-point stand between Joblife and evening up the score.
Now, Nap Lovers, with their backs against the wall, have to respond back. If they lose this round, they go on another eco, and that probably brings Joblife up to a even scoreline of 9-9. 4 rounds not answered back. So many things that Nap Lovers have to figure out what to do. And I'm seeing a heavy investment towards B as well with 3 players on Nap Lovers. What looks like to be a fake towards the A side. Hinata with an operator on her own. Could find some nasty timing to run it back from Zena. Coming out as well, chasing Mavinia down. Can't really get away in time, and Hinata finds Rock Trump on the other side with the operator as well. Proving that Asuna isn't the only one that knows how to use the long gun to its best effect. Lexa walks in, takes a little tickle of damage from Zoe, but overall survives and remains healthy. Hinata, ooh, what a shot!
Oh my goodness. What a moment from Hinata there. Really starting to make up for the first half here, Yulitso. They weren't able to get much impact on the board. But this time around, certainly showing up. Though Zoe is trying to keep them down. Last person standing has to try and take down 4 defenders to clutch up this round. No utility other than the ultimate on the board.
30 seconds
And I will
left.
say that Nap have done a lot better at making use of this utility than in game number 1. However, this definitely is not the opportunity for Zoe to use that ultimate, especially with Senna creeping up behind them and taking them out.
And now, once again, that being put on a desperate buy, there's not that much money in the bank. You really gotta either full eco or scramble and try to find something that works. Mavinia as well has the Tour de Force ready, and they're taking another timeout, which I think is necessary.
Yeah.
Right? This is a situation where I think that it's the indecisiveness, I think. I genuinely think that it's indecisiveness from the side of Nap Lovers that has made them lose 5 in a row, right? The pistol round looked close. The anti-buy round looked pretty close, and then they just gone cold because they couldn't win their buy round, and I think that that's the momentum shift that Joblife were looking for.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they needed, right? This is maybe a team that doesn't capitalize that well on the attacking side of Pearl. It's a difficult side to play, right? I think that's something else that should be highlighted, is that Pearl is hard. It's hard to crack onto some of these sites, especially against a squad like Nap. They have, what, 2 Sentinels? They've got the smokes as well coming through from Clove. This was a pretty solid team to have to fight into in terms of getting onto these bomb sites. And now that they're on the flip side, Nap is struggling to really translate with the amount of passive play that they have. Really has to come off the back of Zoe and Asuna, but how difficult is it, Yuli, to push onto a site when your main weapon is an AWP?
Very, I'd say definitely very. We've seen very few players, even at the very highest level of Valorant, that have successfully done that, and that's always in double duelist comps like this one. I'm not really seeing Zoe taking all the space that I would rather she take instead of Asuna, but now they're jumping in very early, very proactive. Asuna even decides to go venturing. Is she aware of Ritsu? It does not seem like it. Ooh, what a costly mistake. Mavinia with a tour de force now, trying to hold down the city line.
Initiated.
Lockdown committed by Ritsu, pushing the offense into the open arms of the defense. The blades are missing, and Lamy has the frags, the 2v2s now. Lockdown is over. Lamy's detained though. Ritsu tries to peek out Rock Jumper, finds the headshot. Somehow now time is running a bit low. Unique Valkyrie finds Rock Trumper and Lammy, has to run this down, runs it down, kills Unique Valkyrie, and that timeout does wonders for Nap lovers.
They needed the reset, they needed the breather, they needed to bring themselves back into this match, and with a blitzingly fast, I want to say that was a 10-second plant. It is exactly what they needed. Switch up the pace and force Joblife to play on your speed. This time around, look at the adaptations, already committing a second player over towards the B site, and this is exactly where Nap are going to hit again.
And that's the thing I've been saying. See, they slammed the side. They have a good post line, even against the lockdown. They did great. Now the question is just Hinata. Will she find something with the operator? Yes, she does. Asuna falls instantly, and she repositions up towards heaven. The utility not really there to clear out. Convergent paths in. Valkyrie trades out one. Meanwhile, Rock Trumper finds it. Shorty out from Hinata. Zoe eats it to the face. And now, once again, Joblife in a retake. Advantage to them, 4 versus 2. Although both players have decided to dig in. The Nightfall coming in as well. It's going to cause so much troubles.
It's just enough to basically find out where those players are and how you're going to get rid of them. But Lammy is in a big situation. Hold on, Ritsu in a 1v2 situation, but Chopper misses the shot to reveal this position. Lines up for 2 of them, but they're not quite able to get off the shots despite the angle. Did you see that, Yuli? They were stood practically right in front of one another.
Oh, that would have been such a beautiful play, but Joblife stabilizing themselves out again after that, figuring out that the retake is what Nap are trying to put them in. And now this is going, and I feel like this game is going to be a back and forth between who can adapt the fastest. Nap once again setting up onto that B side, and Hinata switching it up with her position on the operator, as one should be doing on the defensive side. Nap not really using enough utility, I think, to clear out this operator line. Sure, the Cypher Cage comes through, but you can use the camera to bring out the op. And now, once again, the timing. If Hinata gets another opening frag, she doesn't. Rock Trumper responds back with a Guardian kill. And now the Showstopper coming in as well.
Oh,
finds
that's beautiful.
nothing. Asuna shoots it straight into the ground. The gravity well stopping her square in her tracks. Mavinia picks up the operator. Finds Ritsu, 5v3 situation. Joblife once again forced to retake the B side, this time not at an advantage.
3v5 situation. It does look like this time around Joblife are willing to back away and try and save the weapons that they have. Xena is holding this close angle for some exit frags, but this is an interesting play from Joblife. They don't have all that much space to maneuver. After this round goes the way of Nap, they only have 2 rounds of buffer until Nap is able to put a bow on the game. Only 1 if they want to avoid going into overtime. So it's an interesting decision, and Xena might be able to deal some economic damage. No one's expecting Xena to be here. Finds Asuna, and will be able to get away from the bomb just about. Not in the spike radius. And it's an interesting one. Joblife are still 2 rounds behind. They have not been able to fully close the gap yet, despite an incredible blitz of rounds through at the start of this round half.
Absolutely. And now Joblife taking another timeout. Their second and last timeout. This is the last timeout of the game, unless we go overtime, in which both teams receive 1 more to work with. But if we look at the econ situation, right, sure, Nap won the round. It's still not looking too great. Asuna not being able to afford heavy shields and a rifle. Meanwhile, Mavinia has saved the operator as well. So the question is, does Mavinia keep it, or does she drop it to Asuna, who we've seen be so lethal with it? Meanwhile, on the side of Joblife, they have a full buy. And not only do they have a full buy, they're one of the Phoenix ult. They have the Cosmic Divide ready. While on Nap, there's just no ults. There's 3 off. The closest one they have is 3 off, and it's the Neuro Theft from Rock Jumper.
Yeah, so it's going to be a rough one, right? There's a lot of opportunity for Joblife, especially with the split that they can put down from Astra here to chop one of these sites in half. We'll have to see what the call has been. It's been 3 B-site executes back-to-back, and it looks like Joblife have correctly predicted where Nap want to put their eggs this time around. The basket is full, and in 5 seconds' time, we'll have to see how well they can hunt.
Oh, Lord. What a read from the side of Joblife. Mavinia decides to push up, finds the first TP's out. Advantage instantly in the hands of Nap Lovers. And now they're about to be cleared out. Unique Valkyrie finds absolutely score Ritsu in the 1v4 situation. And Nap looking to extend to match point. Ritsu finds the first onto Zoe because she's looking the wrong direction.
Spike planted.
But now the 1v3, there is slim to none chances of Ritsu being given the opportunity to clutch her up. Asuna has her spotted out as well. Staying disciplined. Meanwhile, her two teammates have backed out into main and are trying to play it from them. Avinia has the operator as well. So I'm not really seeing this round going for Ritsu. And it seems the outcome will be Joblife trailing by 3 on match point for Nap Lovers.
I have to bring this one back in overtime if they want to avoid going through over to split. But what a resurrection from Nap Lovers. What a turnaround from a devastating Game 1 result, 13-0. Now staring down the barrel of forcing Joblife into a Game 3. It's going to have to come down to their execution here, though. They cannot fall back into the pattern they saw in the first few rounds. And again, folks, we have a look at Zoe on the left-hand side. This is not a 4x1 pistol. This is a buy from Zoe as well. We're just having a few difficulties on that side of the overlay.
That is, in fact, the case. And Hinata now put into an awkward situation, has no operator, has to stand in backside with a judge. So the question is, do you clear this as Nap Lovers? Are you aware of the potentiality of a judge? You don't seem to be, as Asiners rushes in. Mavinia, in the meantime, finds Zdena to run it back. Hinata repositions to the other corner. Brought down desperately low by the decay. 1 HP still lives, is still a nuisance. Lamy, on the other hand, finds one, but the 2v3 situation becomes a 2v2 because Lamy picks up 3 of her own. Spike still not planted, but still a minute on the clock. Lexa finds one. Resurrection out. 2v1. Lamy looking to close it out, but Lexa finds it. 30 HP. Guarding the spike as well. Mavinia put into a uncomfortable situation. Both of these players would be one shot by their weapons. Who is faster on the draw? And it's Mavinia! Nap Lovers, after devastating 0-13 on Lotus, bring it 39 on Pearl. Desperate to go to split to prove themselves in a map 3 of this series. My God, what a turnaround.
Mind-blowing scenes here from Pearl. We started off with Lotus, the pick for Nap Lovers. It's such a tongue twister there. The map pick for Nap Lovers will go in favor of Joblife. And now Pearl, the other side of that, picked away by Joblife, has been won by Nap Lovers. And now we have to go on to a neutral ground. Split is where that will be taking place. Folks, you do not want to touch that dial, because when we get back, Game 3 between Joblife and Nap Lovers will be underway, and we'll get to see some more sparks fly. A devastating game one into a stunning recovery in game number two has led us now to Split, the map that will decide which of these two teams, Nap Lovers and Joblife, will make it through into the quarterfinals of the Game Changers Cash Cup. Too many C's. Yulitso, welcome back to the desk, and let's break down some of what we just saw on Pearl, because wow.
Pearl was absolutely looked surgical from both sides, to be honest. If you just check the leaderboard, right, you have Lamy going 22 and 17 on that Clove pick, or the Clove Roulette, rather, I should say. Meanwhile, a bit unanswered on Joblife GC's side. Lexa and Unique Valkyrie having quite a rough game, as well as Mavinia, I would say, underperforming a bit compared to what we saw. We saw glimpses on Lotus, but Asuna as well, surgical with the operator. My God, what a game.
Yeah, it felt night and day. I mean, you know, it didn't even feel night and day. It was night and day. We went from a 13-0 shutout to a 13-9, 13-10, I believe, opportunity from Nap Lovers. They really turned this one around. And whether it was they weren't expecting the odd comp from Joblife, whether it's Joblife just not being as comfortable on Pearl, regardless of the reasoning, they have now showcased why they are here and how they made it this far in this tournament to begin with. They are a real competitor for that quarterfinal, and I'm really excited to see what the compositions are going to look like for Split, because this is a very different map to both the other maps that we've seen so far today.
Indeed, but before we go into next map, I would like to just highlight one of the players that did so much work for Nap Lovers on Pearl, and that's Asuna, of course. It's surgical with the operator, and 20 and 13 scoreline, 252 ACS and 157 ADR. Just the difference maker, I would say, on those defensive rounds was when she picked up the operator, had the read about where the enemies were going, and as well as fast rotates. That 4K that she did to stop a plant, surgical and also completely necessary for the victory for Nap Lovers. It's crazy stuff. I'm honestly a bit speechless, because it's just so crazy stuff how much a difference one player can make by just getting some opening frags.
It would be great. I realized we should have said this to Foxy earlier on, but it would be great to see the comparison between Asuna's stats in game two compared to game one Lotus. Maybe one day, maybe at the end of the series, but this is a incredible turnaround performance here from Asuna, who I believe we also saw play Raze in game number one. That I might be completely wrong on that, but a player played Raze in game number one from Nap Lovers. So to see the comeback here from Asuna really burst onto the scene and making great use of that operator, very impressive stuff.
Absolutely. And this is crazy. Let's walk into Split next map. Before we do that, we've just gotten word that we can see some stats from Lotus to Pearl. The difference in stats from Asuna. Asuna actually changed characters. Yeah, Fade on the first map versus Raze on the second one. Blazy, what do you have to say about this?
I mean, it clearly shows a difference in sensibilities, right? Definitely more comfortable on the duelist pick versus the Fade. And it just goes to show you the difference in the difference that a map can make, the difference that a little bit of energy and momentum on your team can have, right? Starting off with that Clove Roulette, we theorized that might be the boost of energy that they needed to kick themselves up and over the line to be more competitive with Joblife, and that's exactly what happened. So having a look at the picks and bans for game number 3, I think will be very interesting to see what changes, what stays the same as we head on to Split, which is a rather unique map in terms of Valorant itself.
Absolutely. Split, one of these maps that, there's so many different ways to play this map on so many different comps, and don't be fooled by the graphics.
Spoilers!
Spoiler alert, I guess. I don't know if we're leaking the script, but again, like Split being one of those maps where there's so many different philosophies on how to play this, right? Do you run a Viper or not? Do you play Chamber for those early picks and those TP ranges. Split being more compressed as a map means that Chamber has a lot better teleport spots, right? So we'll just have to see how both of these teams decide to approach this map, because it makes a huge difference actually in how the map is played based on agent compositions.
Yeah, I think, talking about the potential of the TP range for Chamber, I think also opens the door to characters like Vito, who isn't necessarily prioritized in many maps. I think Bind and Split are two of the only maps that you see a lot of Vito played in, but it is a pick that is not necessarily as meta as some of these other pickups that we might be able to see, but has a lot of potential in those teleports and in the effective rotation range that you're able to see here. I think Split will be a very, well, I mean, it's not even for me to sit here and say really that it will showcase the direction the rest of the series is going to go in, because this is the end of the series. This is end of the line. Whichever team falls down here will fall out of the tournament, and the other team will make the way into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, exactly. There is no other chances except this one last map. Both of these teams trying to back the other one into a corner. And we'll just have to see which team gets there first, or which team can fight themselves out of the corner they're backed into. There's just so many question marks that we won't be able to answer until we see an agent composition. But let me just ask you this one question. What type of comp do you want to see on this map? What do you want them to run?
Well, we've seen Nap Lovers have a lot more success with a hyper-aggressive composition. So I think something that leans into that spirit, something that leans into a fast-paced state of play that lets them get onto these sites quickly or defend them in a similar way, will work out very well for them. Similarly, I think Joblife were at that peak when they had a lot of utility to play around. So I think, I want to see a composition that really leans into the strengths we've seen from these teams so far.
So you want hyper aggressive versus macro play?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm actually fully ready to agree with you. That would be great. It always makes for a fun matchup when you have a team that's hyper aggressive and a team that focuses more on like the team play or the macro. That always makes for interesting matches. That's kind of what you've seen, a lot historically in Tier 1 as well. Any matchup that PaperX plays, or the Pacific El Clasico a couple of years ago, PaperX versus DRX. That's the same philosophy clash right there. And yeah, I'm just very excited to see what these teams pull out. I want to see weird comp, because weird comps are always fun, especially that we saw, the triple Senti comp on Lotus from Joblife and the kind of more ranked Clove comp on that we just saw on Pearl. I want to see something weird like that. I would like to see a Vito. That would be great.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, we're now in a situation where we are in a best of one, right? And in best of one, sometimes you need weird, you need wacky, you need the unexpected. So bringing out something here that will be different and that will catch someone off guard, I think is exactly the way that they need to play. I mean, we already saw Joblife do so well with the Sage. I mean, not necessarily essential on Split, but maybe one of the highest picked characters on Split themselves, right? Has so much utility, so many places that wall can just completely block off a team and force them to either hard commit to pushing mid, to pushing the A site, to pushing the B site, or completely ignore it entirely.
Exactly, and I think that's what's going to be interesting as well, is how will these teams deal with mid. And now we are coming into an agent select. We're seeing, I would say, pretty standard compositions. I can't lie.
Yeah,
Double
no
duelist
Sage
on both sides. Using Viper as a little bit of a sentinel from the side of Joblife, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. This is interesting. The Neon as well, even post nerf, Asuna wants to take a crack at that one, and I think that might be a good choice.
I think even after the nerf, the rotation power, we were highlighting two other characters who could make good use of the squashedness of Split in a way, right? Talking about how Chamber and Vito can really maneuver this map quickly. Neon, even post nerf, still has the fastest rotation speed of any agent in the game. So locking it in just lets you have pressure around the entire map. Now just waiting on Zoe, will be locked into the Rays. And this is, two pretty vanilla, disappointingly vanilla compositions for this map.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, I'm Split being one of these maps that you can go very aggressive, you can go very slow. I'm seeing that Vise on the side of Nap Lovers has better stalling potential, I'd say, than on Joblife's side. Sure, the Viper Snakebite is lethal and dangerous, but it's also only a one-time use. Meanwhile, Vise has 2 Thorns and a wall. So depending on how fast both of these teams go, they could really stop each other. And if I don't know if you saw that, but look at Nap Lovers. That was they switched off the Omen at the last second. We're getting another Clove.
And I have absolutely no qualms with this. This pick was so quintessential for Lami in the last game. Did wonders for her and has, you know, a lot of utility on this map as well. It's never going to be a bad thing to have a character who can act as a secondary life. You know, you can throw a Phoenix in there, you can throw a Clove in there, a Sage in there. They all have similar benefits of there is just now one extra person that you have to deal with in this round, so it's never not going to be relevant. Combine that with some of the best smokes in the game, and I can see absolutely no reason why Nap Lovers would want to go back to the Omen in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, it might just be a comfort pick as well, and comfort matters a lot, as we saw in the last map, where Lami just seemed Lami, I would say, seemed like a different player on the Clove compared to the Viper on map 1. Just comfort and familiarity, I think, is the word I'm looking for, makes huge differences, especially, you know, this being the 3rd map. Mental might be a bit weird, or, you know, you might be getting a bit tired, a bit fatigued from playing two long maps of Valorant. Now prioritizing confidence and familiarity could be absolutely massive. It could be the puzzle piece that seals the deal.
2 long maps of Valorant might be a bit contested. 1 long map and one game where you were a little bit manhandled. But heading into game number 3, Nap Lovers have very much solidified themselves as a squad that can make their way back into this game. I am interested to see these stats on the board here. Split does look like it's been piloted a little bit more often by Joblife, so maybe a little bit of that experience playing at this level on this map might factor into the ability here. But this is still a map that was let through. This is clearly something Nap Lovers weren't uncomfortable playing, or they would have taken it away in the ban phase.
Definitely, if not comfortable, I would say at least they're not uncomfortable with this map. Now we are heading in towards the game. Nap Lovers looking to get aggressive on A. Meanwhile, Joblife have put the majority of their players towards B. This is going to be a banger 3rd map.
Hopefully, straight away into the bird, trying to scout out some information towards the B site, while Ritsu is just poking around A, which is where Nap have more of their commitments so far. Now looking to get on to the B site. Wall goes up, blocking that. Shutting down the aggression for now. It's going to slow down Nap quite a bit.
And now Joblife, Hinata just jumps into the side. The only one in currently. Akuro is being destroyed. Hinata finds the headshot on Rock Trumper as well. Zena can't find one of her own. Plant is going down, and they have the side pretty handedly. Mavinia with the flash is about to try and cause problems, but Joblife stabilizes out. The aim is true. Now only Zoe left with a classic against 3.
And we'll be jumping around, trying to find something of an angle. The right click has worked out. Hold on, a lot of damage comes through, but it's a flick back to Valkyrie to take them out. And while the damage comes through onto Lexa, it's not enough to take down the players, despite the health bars being low on the 2 remaining players. It's a solid effort, though, and it does showcase the level of play that we are seeing from Nap now that they have woken up. I think I'm gonna take your phrase for it.
Yeah, definitely so. They look more ready for eventualities of Joblife's game plans here. Now they're committing heavy towards mid, and I think honestly this is the only thing they really can do now, is to just walk down mid and try to maybe catch one of the Joblife players not looking or with their pants down. But Zena's ready for it. Shoots first. Oh, they're about to be pinced, but the shots are just not landing from Lexa. Only finds one, and now the grenade comes out as well. Kills Valkyrie. Somehow a 3v3 still, and Zena's shots are still not landing. Nap Lovers come out relatively unscathed.
Yeah, now it's a 3v3 situation. A minute 10 left on the clock. Very much favoring Nap, who have that time on their side. Burst shot from Medina, not going to land. It goes a little to the right. and ends up in the wall. Ritsu is able to get that one done as the rest of Joblife start to maneuver over towards the A site. Hinata is on their way with Spike in hand. Still looking to clear a few angles on A before planting it for Heaven. It's an important position because right now they're looking down the lens of Rock Jumper and Zoe, who have come around this flank.
Zoe picked up a weapon as well. Ritsu, the one in Heaven, has only a ghost. Mavinia is about to be jumped by all three, it looks like. But that does give Zoe and Rock Jumper an opportunity to maneuver into the backlines. That Guardian looking to maybe deal some lethal damage. Ritsu has been spotted out. Mavinia jumped by Hinata. Ritsu somehow finds the second one. Zoe, the only one left with a Guardian. Time not on her side and two people stacked up in CT. There's just no way this is going her way. All she can realistically do is choose between saving the Guardian and dying to the Spike. And she chooses to die to the Spike and take Xena to the grave with her costly buy round from the side of Joblife.
Costly, yes, but on the back end of that, right, Joblife now have the money to fully buy into this. They don't have to sacrifice around on the altar of bonus because they have money to buy at least a little bit of something. Nap will have a full economy on their side. However, Zoe, with the operator, Lammy, no shields available to them and a regen from Mavina, whereas it's just slim pickings on the other side, a few regen shields and full shields to Vandals and a bunch of Sheriffs to try and bringing it back. Joblife pushing now onto a site into the Heaven area. We'll have to see how this plays out for them.
Absolutely, and we're seeing the operator being shifted around to the Raze player. Still just a different player. Shot fired in the dark, doesn't find any tags. And now it's just the side of Joblife slowly walking the way back towards mid. And Asuna, one to stand behind the corner, checking it. Ritsu lands not a shot. Sheer baited out as well. And now Nap falling back into the default defensive positions against Joblife. Shoulder spotted out. Lammy finds the first, no. Second kill. Showstopper from Hinata, potentially threatening a rocket barrage. Ritsu, in the meanwhile, falls while Hinata dies to Mavinia as well. Advantage in the hand of Nap Lovers, the way that you were expecting a bonus round to go, maybe. But the showstopper being a big commitment from Joblife.
Xena still yet to be revealed as they start walking up towards B. They've made an adjustment. Nap still has yet to figure out where they've gone, but there is still one player left here. Rock Jumper in the alley, looking to hopefully catch somebody off guard, but the smoke goes down, and Rock Jumper will take the opportunity to push it while the rest of their team start the rotation over, and it's a quick rotation because of how short it is. Xena pushes in. That's the last weapon for this squad. No more weaponry available. Just the Sheriff and Valkyrie standing between the first round of Nap. They will, of course, take them off the board and put one on the scoreline for themselves.
Convincing round from Nap Lovers. Sure, it was against a bonus round with not a lot of weaponry from Joblife, but we're seeing Zoe now with that operator also has the showstopper ready on the back of that defuse. Meanwhile, Joblife looking quite desperate in their ult economy, not really close to anything. Showstopper obviously being burnt during that round. But the weaponry is there, they can buy up, and I'm once again going to assume that the HUD is just not really working, because I'm assuming Lammy has shields.
Well, we're hoping. Maybe, maybe not. We are... Oh, no, they picked them up right at the end there. A little bit
perfect.
of... Oh, no, I showed on the other graphic, but on this one, we'll assume... I can see it on her actual HUD.
Yeah.
Here, that she does have the full shields available to them, so... Maybe a little bit of shenanigans coming through from the information on the thing. But Zoe will be the first one to fall. Lexa picks up credit for that one. And with an opening like that, now Joblife kind of have their pick of the litter. It looks like down through the sewers towards the A site is where they're going to choose to go with it now that they've thinned out the herd.
Zoe peeks into a totem pole of players standing in a high-low position, ready to pick out. There's a gap in the Viper wall that could be lethal for the side of Joblife. Asuna lands her shots. Yes, she does, at least the first one. And now evened out numbers again, but Lexa trades back by spraying through the smoke, and now Joblife side-handedly in their control planted towards heaven, but they have no players there. Seekers coming out, revealing the position of Nap Lovers immediately.
Slow push back in, trying to reclaim their space. It's a 3v4 situation, and the spike is ticking away. Rock Jumper, the first one to get caught off guard. Ritsu will claim that one, and now trying to push on. Just 2 players left standing. Lamy and Marvinia have to make something special happen here, despite the flashbang. Hold on, something might occur, but it's a 1v4 situation. And while Marvina is able to find one of them, the other 3 are still well positioned to take her down and put another one on the board for Joblife. 3-1 with a 2-point lead at the moment.
Joblife looking to once again extend. Meanwhile, Nap Lovers still have a semblance of a bye coming into this round. If Nap Lovers can swing this round in their favor, they're going to put Joblife on the back foot and maybe have a chance to go up even with them. And it looks like they have the right read. 3 people up close here. The Trailblazer spots out all 5. Showstopper being popped as well from Zoe. Finds nothing.
A little bit of damage, maybe?
A little bit of damage. Another Trailblazer has her marked up, but nobody is looking excited to peek. And there's a lot of utility burn for 0 progress on either side.
A lot, and in fact, so much so that now Ritsu is on their way back. Hold on, finds Lamy, who isn't able to secure the damage that they needed for the surprise. Now this duel in the sewers will end with the running away. Zoe in a tough spot, grenade at their back, 3 people at their front. They'll fall down nice and quickly there. The smoke goes through, and while Marvina is able to spam it, they aren't able to find much value for it. Lexi is very low on HP, however, which is why they are sending her out front to try and bait some kills while Lamy comes in for the flank.
Rock Jumper looking to play spoiler in vents as well. If Joblife dares to venture into vents, they will be met with the fury of the vice. They decide to go to the side. Asuna with the stinger switches over to a phantom. Rock Jumper meanwhile decides to strike from the vents, and now Ritsu left in the 1v3 situation. Might see Mavinia turn the wrong direction. Yes, she does. 13 seconds on the clock. Asuna in the slide decides to put her into the ground, and Nap turning this round into their own hands and a chance to even it up.
And this is what we were talking about. We were talking about this hyper-offensive play from Nap and how well it does for them. Just because they're on the defense side does not mean that they cannot play hyper-aggressive in this case. Holding Joblife down in a main and just making them unable to really walk away. And we saw, despite positive trades for Joblife pretty much all around the map, it didn't matter at the end. Nap were able to hold on for long enough for Joblife to run out of utility and, well, quintessentially be unable to break the sight lines that they needed to really get onto site properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And now early timeout from Nap Lovers. I'm wondering if maybe coaching staff or any one of the players has noticed something that isn't really working in their lineup that they need to talk about. But again, if you look at the economy from Joblife, 3 rifles, but Unique Valkyrie and Lexa have nothing to their names. Meanwhile, on the econ side of Nap, same thing, 3 rifles and 2 players with very little in the bank.
Need a drop.
You're going to have to make these rifle players work hard to find their value for the team. And we will shortly be going into that round. Asuna has overdrive ready as well. Maybe looking to strike with that ulti.
Potentially, but has the judge on the board at the moment. Normally more of an economic opportunity is the overdrive to come back from a bad position in the buy phase. Ritsu trying to bait out a little bit of utility here. Will lose their armor for it. Meanwhile, the other side of the
back, and now Lamy strikes from the flank. The pincer move is coming in. Mavinia, oh, Hinata turns the wrong direction at the exactly wrong time. Has the judge, but is left all alone in the 1v4. Spike not in her hands. The Trailblazer has her spotted out as well. And I'm not really seeing any openings from the side of Nap Lovers. They just don't want to give her squat.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Too many angles to find, and Hinata is all alone. And with Rock Jumper in an angle that Hinata was definitely expecting. Goes to check for it, but just cannot win the gun trade there. And I think for the first time in any of these sets, Yulitso, we are even on the slash line.
Yes, we are. And that is very exciting to see that, you know, both of these teams are playing to their fullest abilities and showing us really great Valorant. You know, the Viper wall goes towards A, starts a little fake. The pressure is coming towards Rockjump, and she might be peeking into a lot of players here. The one-way smoke comes in as well to deny and delay, but the utility comes in, and she's about to be tested by 4.
Yeah, the push will be strong here, but there is a Vice wall there that can help delay as long as needed. Omen has ulted all the way over here, Valkyrie, to reinforce the position. Zoe has recognized the sound cue. The Vice wall comes up, will separate 3 members. It's just 2 isolated, just 1 isolated. And look at how they line up. That's terrible positioning from Nap, who fall into the clutches of Nap. Sorry, terrible positioning from Joblife. Nap, in fact, has positioned themselves excellently. Ritsu coming in from the back. 2 left to find. 2v2 situation. It's been a recovery, but here comes the overdrive. And there's only so much that you can do when you're one person versus a laser stream. But in fact, Ritsu was able to overcome the ultimate. Now in a 1v1 position. It won't matter too much because Mavina's got her number.
These trades back and forth, Joblife seemingly digging themselves out of a disadvantage just for Mavinia to peek out of heaven and put a stop to the dreams and the hopes of Joblife to maybe extend, and it's instead Nap to put another round ahead on the board. 4-3, not a super big lead, but if you look at the weaponry, Joblife, desperate times.
Cool for desperate measures indeed. And now Nap have started to gain a bit of an advantage for themselves here. It must be rough if you're Joblife after having such a successful game number 1 to find yourself in this position where you just cannot get a breath in as Zoe rains down fire from heaven, supported by Lammy with a beautiful 2K. They will eventually be traded off, but already a lot of damage has been dealt. Lexa only 5 HP, as Joblife need to find a decision as to where to go, because coming up behind them, Asuna is here with a shotgun.
Finds absolutely nothing, and I think this is, once again, we're seeing the same pattern as from map 1. Nap overextending when they really cannot afford to, but Rockjumper in the backlines. Looking for maybe the third onto Ritsu, doesn't find it. Mavinia once again left in a 1v1. The same 2 players, but Ritsu wins it out this time. And Joblife equalizes up to the 4th round. And these teams just cannot seem to pull away from each other.
Good lord, a match made in heaven. All the way down here at round of 32. We don't normally expect to see such close games this far down in the bracket, but if this is the quality that round of 32 can provide, just imagine how those quarters, semis, and grand finals will look later on, or the start of next week, I should say. What an incredible performance from both of these squads. And as we head into the tightest first half that we've seen of either side, a quick A aggression looks like the answer for Joblife.
And Joblife seemingly have taken so much space. Unique Valkyrie as well, TP'd onto the balcony, tight firmly in their hands. Weaponry as well, almost equal. Lammy the only one without a rifle. Viper Spit comes in, the 2 Trailblazers spotting each other out. Deals damage to one another, and now Nap in a retake, in a difficult retake against the Viper's Pit. Lexa finds the first, finds the second, stabilizes out those headshots, and now the 3v5 a difficult situation becomes a 2v5 courtesy of Lexa. Asuna and Zoe, not too much to do.
It's a rough spot for them, especially with how significant Lexa's contributions to this round have been. And Zoe, tail tucked, runs away, only to be shot in the back. Asuna, last person standing. They will come up against Lexa. Hot hands for the Sky player. And that'll separate Joblife once again. 1 point in the lead.
This round was played so well by the side of Joblife that Viper Pit really stopped Nap lovers in their tracks, so much so that they decide to take a timeout and once again talk to each other about what can be done now. If you look at the side of both these teams, Showstopper already for the side of Joblife, Unique Valkyrie almost at her ult as well, finding so much value the last time she used it. Meanwhile, the side of Nap, sure, they're on a lower buy, but they have the Steel Garden maybe to even out the weaponry a little bit. Also 3 away from Lami's ult. Either way, we're going to see a couple of ults be rotated through the game these last few rounds of the half.
It is going to be fireworks, and neither team is realistically going to make it out of here with a clean exit into the second half. Both of these squads are going to have quite a lot to fight over if they want to make it through to a victory. As the timeout ends, Nap sure need to hope that that chat that they've just had with themselves will be enough to get themselves back into a driver's seat. Although that being said, I say driver's seat like they are struggling. Yuli, all of these rounds have been so tight.
These rounds have really been so tight, and I think like what we can see now is just it's the wrangling of the steering wheel. Both of these teams desperate to be in the driver's seat, and none of these teams really letting the other one in. Hinata's Showstopper doesn't find anything, but Asuna overextends immediately by sitting in that corner while everyone is flying in, which means advantage handedly on the side of Joblife, especially if Ritsu just flakes onto the angle like that, puts Vivinia and Rock Trumper into between a rock and a hard place, and there's really not that much to do, especially not when Hinata just swings out CT. Rock Trumper, maybe some exits on the horizon.
Potentially, but maybe getting a little bit more ambitious than that. Very close, very tight angle here for Rock Chomper. Maybe we'll pick up something. A Sheriff in hand means that they need to hit the first shot of whoever lands in their web. They will reveal themselves! Spotted out first by Lexa, who isn't able to find those shots. Surely nobody else is going to go and challenge the Vise in the vents with the Sheriff. Luckily, Rock Jumper was not able to pick up the Vandal, but hold on, Ritsu is going to be in the blast radius. Surely they need to find it. Jump forward. Ritsu just about 2 HP left, one more than they needed. Will pick up the kill and extend that lead even further to 6-4.
Joblife guaranteeing at least even half, wanting to pull away to 8-4, of course. Well, Nap, desperate, I can assume, to put it to a 6-6 half. And once again, Nap need to figure out what is going on, and it looks like they want to gamble on the A site. Spike is committed towards this side, but Joblife looking very defaulty.
Indeed, with the flashes coming through. Lexa trying to find just a bit of information. Spray down from Asuna. Try and do the same. And look at this. Incredibly aggressive start from Nap, but it's not worked out for them this time. Instead, they are the ones to lose not one, but 2 players across the map as Lamy takes a spill as well. Rock Chomper here, the only player on the B site, tries to take a 2v1 fight, but is not successful. I say tries to, forced into the better phrase, the better wording. And as the spike goes down here on the B site, potentially, a little bit of thought process from Hinata. They will
Farming
eventually...
the orb, I see. Farming the orb before spike comes down. Ritsu is about to find another one. Yes, she does. And now Joblife looking to pull ahead to 7-4, perhaps 8-4, as Nap's economy is going to be in shambles after this.
Yeah, it's going to be... well, I think it's going to be a tough few rounds for them. Only 1 round left, so it's going to kind of be all or nothing for round 12. Nap, ideally, they need to find at least 1 more, right? They need to be able to play into that last round and try and get a bit more space for themselves to maneuver, because right now, yeah, we took a different path to get here, Yuli, but we're only 1 round away, realistically, from the exact same results that we saw Game 2 end in on the first half, that being 4-8.
Exactly, and Joblife, of course, want to pull ahead to that. Zoe being fed the last orb that she needed for her ult as well. You can see already on the overlay because Zena overextended last round. She's having a rough game, 2-10 right now. But then again, she has teammates like Lexa and Ritsu that just pulled up 13 and they pulled away 13 and 12 kills respectively. Meanwhile, now Nap on this one defensive side, once again committing 3 players onto A. Different setup though that maybe will have a difference, especially if the showstopper comes in, finds only one, but Ritsu the one being taken out. Zoe surgical with the headshot against Lexa. Hinata as well on only a sliver of health, survives and runs away to regroup with her team.
It's a great start, and even though the showstopper only picked up Lexa, it did so much damage to Hinata that they are essentially persona non grata. They do not have a lot of, a lot of space to play with, to put it bluntly. Now Nap, they are in a great position to put themselves at a 5-7 split for the second half, especially if Lamy is able to find these shots, and they are indeed. Valkyrie finds one in trade, but it's just Zena. And finding 4 here is a tall order to ask of your Jet.
That is massive. But what I feel like again brings us back to map 1. The Steel Garden's still not been committed yet. Spike in the hands of Zena now, but this tall order is not one that I could see it fulfilling. Again, still rough game, 2-10. They've totemed up Lamy and Rock Trumper, and that's gonna be the demise of Zena. 5-7 Nap, making the best they can out of a disadvantageous situation going into their attack side. Now, we've talked about this team being able to go aggressive, and I think that this will be necessary to see how aggressive they can go.
Yeah, and we'll see how that plays out for them on the offense side. I think on the other side, though, something important to mention is that this composition from Joblife is pretty successful on defense. This is a capable option. However, what they are missing that Nap had that really, really pushed them through quite a few rounds is this wall from Vice. Rock Jumper, while their KDA might not be the most impressive thing on the world, what it doesn't tell you is the amount of matches, the amount of rounds that have been won purely by separating the team as they try and push on to the B side.
Absolutely. And now the defense is being forced off the site. Nap lovers firmly in control, but it's going to be a 5v5 retake. Grenades coming in, trying to stall out a little bit. Positioning gained as well. The defense. Ritsu cannot hold with the Sheriff, and neither can Unique Valkyrie with a Classic. She's blinded up. Mavinia thus falls in the hands of Lexa's Ghost. Now, numbers advantage to Joblife. No, sorry, against Joblife. Nap 4v2.
It's favoring Nap for the moment as that spike keeps ticking away. It is all down to Joblife. They have to force the timing here to try and get to where they need to get. But that spike just keeps on ticking, and they do not have the time to defuse it. And even if they did, it's hard to do it without a skull. Zena last to fall there, and that will put Nap 1 point further on, 6-7. Don't make me say it. Don't do the hands.
My God, I didn't even think about that until you said it. Why must you forsake me like this? We've also gotten word from production that there will be a little problem with the overlay, which means it will be permanently active for a while and also show incorrect information. So just for everyone that maybe has looked away from the screen a little bit and is just looking back, the scoreline is 6-7. Joblife with 7 rounds and Nap with 6.
Nap definitely in a position to take this. Either side has the position to take it for themselves, especially with a flank like that. Rock Jumper finds Zena trying to force out the flank, and here's the problem child here. This round frozen up for us. We'll have to chime back in a moment to see how that round went, but an early start from Nap for sure will put Joblife in an odd position.
Definitely so. Unfortunately, stream is lagging a little bit, which means that not only can you not see anything, but neither can we, which means we are going to be taking a little tech pause after the round. We're seeing, it says flawless, but I'm not sure that is that's what's
couldn't be
happening.
possible. Nap, in fact,
could
has,
be possible. Nap
flawless,
could
I
definitely
think.
be possible, but we'll be probably taking a little tech pause to sort out some of these issues.
Tech pause back to us, in fact, and as we get to this point in the series where it is 7-7, we are dead even. We have 10 rounds left if we go to maximum opportunity, and if we do use all 10 of those rounds, in fact, we will be in overtime, right? So we have so much game left to play. Neither of these teams, I think you said it best, Julie, they do not want to separate from each other at all. They are hand in hand. And when we have a matchup that is as close as this, I mean, you got to think to yourself, where was this version of Nap Lovers 2 games ago? What happened on Lotus that made them look like such a lower caliber of team that now, of course, is shown to be completely non-based?
Warm-ups, I'd say. It's just warm-up. First map is just shooting practice. And that's what we're saying, right? Hand in hand, neck and neck, the scoreline is just so even. 7-7. Zoe, the one to start pulling away on the scoreboard for the side of Nap. And unfortunately, Zena still having a very rough game at 2-11. But yeah, we'll be jumping straight back into game as soon as we do some ready checks.
Looks like everyone is back and rearing to go, and I think you're spot on the money there. It's always difficult for a teammate to be going negative, especially 2-11 negative, but heartbreaking, I think, is when that player is one of your duelists, especially when this Jet, in theory, should have been the one to create all this space, but right now it is a blink and you'll miss it push onto the B site. 2 defenders lay dead on the wayside. And Nap charge into the lead in round 15.
Hyper aggressiveness from the side of Nap Lovers, cracking open the side and leaving the defense in shambles. The defensive positions completely destroyed and overrun. Spike is now kicking down as the defense try to retake, and Zena having to show her prowess now. Not dead yet from Lamy, and Asuna puts her into the ground. She picks up 2 more kills this round, which is good for her, but Nap extend to 8 rounds convincingly on their bonus as well, and that is the tempo shift that I was talking about earlier. Cranking up the speed to 12 is exactly what Nap needs.
3 in a row, and that will plant their feet in the lead here because Joblife do not have the economy to buy into this round. Nap, they do lose quite a lot of players, and from the looks of things, I'm going to query whether or not the economy is right here, because it doesn't look quite right based on the positioning of these players in the last few rounds, but we'll have to see as we get into it.
No,
it is, in fact, not. The overlay is a lie.
Yeah. The overlay is a lie, and now Joblife trying to gain some space in mid, all being pushed back.
There.
Nap having the opportunity now maybe to reset their attacking side. Rock Trumper finds Alexa on the other side, and now the A side is put in question. Forces the rotation over from Zena. Hinata as well tries to find one. Lavinia through the box, gets her head taken off by the Sheriff. And Zena, meanwhile, on the other hand, finds nothing but Rock Trumpers already low. Guns coming in. Asuna fast on the take.
And it'll be a push straight onto the A site. Lamy has the spike in hand, goes to plant it down, but it will be a fake initially to try and bait out anyone holding in that window. It will be Hinata coming up against Asuna soon, but Asuna actually down in the vents, the smoke putting a bit of cover on the walkway. Coming up the strings, you would expect Hinata to have the drop on Asuna, but no, in fact, the high-powered weaponry, too much to contend with. As Joblife keep pushing on to the site, it's trades back and forth, but the spike is ticking away, and Ritsu does not have a lot of utility left to try and cover this ground.
And the 1v1 against Lamy, ring around the rosy, played perfectly from the club on the Nap side. And all this means is that Nap will once again extend. If the pattern is to continue, Joblife will claw their way back and not let them leave them in the dust.
2 points now separate these two teams. Nap only need 4 more rounds. They just need to replicate their performance here from the first 4. And they'll be able to close out this game, set and entire series, in fact, for themselves. Meanwhile, on the other side, Joblife had such a dominating game number 1. All they need to do is find that energy back inside them once again. And with a teleport to find 2 kills, and with a lovely triple coming out of the smoke here from Hinata, that momentum might have just reset.
The momentum shift from Hinata finds 4 kills immediately out of the smoke, and Joblife once again clawing their way back. My God.
And what a chain kill from Hinata indeed. They've been quiet so far in this game. They were quiet in the first half of game number 2 as well, but potentially with a chain like that, they have the opportunity to get themselves back in the saddle and bring this one back for themselves. And say it with me, Yulito, we are back to a technical pause.
Of course, we are. There is a little bit of technical issues with the overlay, of course, that we are trying to fix right now. But man, what a final map we have on our hands right now. This is so far away from what we expected when we saw that first map of Lotus going 0 and 13 for the side of Nap, with not a single round on the board for them. But this last one, neck and neck, hand in hand, and they refuse to let each other go.
Yeah, it has been truly a masterclass in keeping your mental game steady and being able to come back into these games. I mean, so I don't think it's wrong to say that we kind of discounted Nap Lovers after game number 1. We sat in the green room. We thought to ourselves, well, it's a shame, but it's going to be probably a pretty quick series here. Joblife just seemed to have their number. And then we witnessed their comeback on Pearl and now their strength on Split. This team seemingly has come out of nowhere to reclaim their momentum and their energy. And Joblife are now the team that are trying to keep up with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Nap Lovers rising like a phoenix from the ashes of that map 1, coming to life and roaring to a win on Pearl, as well as now having a small little lead, even though Joblife are trailing just behind in their dust tracks, refusing to let go of the rope that ties these two teams together in this map. And wow.
Wow, I think, yeah, is indeed the operative word here, Yuli. And you got to think about how fatigued these players must be. It's been a long afternoon. We've been here now for 3 hours, a little under, and we are still not clear through map number 3, through the intense back and forth, the close game, and the technical pauses. We've had quite a handful, and these players must be in their digging through the bottom of their stamina pool, maybe downing the second or third non-legally legally indescript monster drink, energy drink, to I tried so hard to not say a specific brand, but that's why we'll roll with it. A nondescript energy drink on their desks, maybe grabbing at that second or third one, but there's got to be a level of fatigue starting to set in on these players.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm starting to feel a bit tired as well, and I'm not even playing the game. I'm just here talking about it. But with that said, let's just jump right back into it. Zoe finds a kill with her grenade immediately, and now that 1-to-1 trade Asuna for Hinata as well, 4v4. Ritsu and Zena looking like they want a piece of the cake. That is Nap's attack side.
Nap having some trouble with their guns, that being on the overlay only in game. They are fully practical, working, and not set to stun. They are in fact set to bloody murder. And Joblife currently hoping to not be on the receiving end of that. Brussels sprouts out to try and seek some enemies, and that will give Joblife some information as to where Nap are hiding. It is in fact all 4 remaining members hiding out in a main. But now with that information on the board, it does look like they will be looking to rotate back to B. But look at this. I think Joblife have called it.
the reads are coming in. Joblife have certainly not forgot their library card at home because they have read this rotation perfectly. Now, the only question is, can Nap storm this side fast enough to where Joblife does not have the time to react? Zoe gets picked off. And meanwhile, Lexa, at the same time, it is a bloody massacre. Nap run into the guns, run into the firing line of Joblife, who equalized again and refuse to be put down.
Yeah, this is two dogs chasing each other's tails for eternity. They cannot be separated by more than a few rounds, and that lead that Nap had has now come to 0-9-9 are the scores on the doors, and with what looks to be another aggressive push. Don't worry, production. You're not going to be fired. I promise. We'll put in a good word for you. What looks to be another fast, aggressive push onto the A site.
Oh, Lexa through the smoke. Finds one, gets traded back by Mavinia. Asuna getting ready to make so much speedy takes. Meanwhile, Hinata and Ritsu gathering up in heaven. The buy is somewhat labored. I think I saw a sheriff or two. Meanwhile, Joblife grouping up, trying so desperately to fight their way back in. A boombot comes out as well, but they're about to walk into the stack, and somehow Unique Valkyrie gets both right there. And now Nap on the back foot, immediately off that 2K. The totem didn't work as intended. Hinata flies in with the satchels, gets taken off by Rock Chomper. 1v2, Lamy, so much to do. Can she stand tall? Or will she fall against the might of Joblife? The bullet's not reloaded early and she falls, and Joblife extend by 1 round.
There will be enough time just about to get the spike defused. And as you said, put one more on the board. 3 left to win for Joblife. 1 extra on the other side. Nap 4 separated from match point at the moment. And I'm starting to find it difficult to predict who is really going to do well in these rounds. I think it's harder when we can't see the economic status of these two squads, but given the back and forth nature, Yuli, I think it's safe to say that both teams have relatively comparable economies. At this point, Nap may be a little bit lower down on economic status. But either way, it looks like another fast A take will be the option.
Nap's on a half by 3 stingers, 2 sheriffs. But the fast take seemingly works. Zoe has already picked off Lexa. But Zena on the backside seemingly woken up to life. Roars in with a 3K, seemingly solidifying the hold on the site. The 2v2 situation, Aston and Zoe, the 2 people left. They could very well get pinched from both heaven and sight. And Zena with an ace! She's underperformed the entire game up until now, but what a time to come alive for her.
That's what you need to see from the Jet at this clinical point in the game. Now on their own win streak, 2 away from victory. Joblife looking to do what Game 2 failed to deliver for them. With a win here, will take them through into the quarterfinals off the back of a play like that. Zena surely must be feeling incredible. And with Nap having picked up stingers and the like in the last game, it's curious to see whether they have full guns or whether they have no guns.
They have full guns this round. Unique Valkyrie does the same TP she's done before. Somehow they're not ready for it. Ritsu in the backside causing so many issues. Trailblazer, interesting choice. Hinata picks up 2, and there's just not too much left to do for the side of Nap, especially not when Joblife so convincingly puts stops in their tracks. 12-9, 3 chances for Joblife to close out the game. 3 must-win rounds for Nap, and they are now trailing behind.
It's starting to all fall apart at the seams. Nap have had such an incredible 2 games. But their mistakes in map number 1 might be what comes back to haunt them here. Because they do not have any more space to breathe. Quite literally, no more opportunities for mistakes. 1 more lost round will send them out of the competition. And as a first initial charge forward here from Zoe, will look to take out someone with the rocket fuse. They don't have the space, they don't have the mobility to get up here. So instead, It will just create some space
Planted.
and allow for the plant from Nap.
The buy is labored. There's only 2 rifles currently on the side of Nap. A lot of judges, specters, and alike. Hinata finds Zoe early. She tried to tuck into the corner with the judge and cause some problems, but Hinata comes alive. The 2 duelists on the side of Joblife doing a lot of work. Asuna, meanwhile, in the backline with the stinger. Not dead yet. The resurrection is in. Hinata has a 4th on for the 5th. It lands there. 6K not there. Zena takes it away, and Joblife puts the game into the ground. 13-9 on the final map of Split, and they are through.
After struggling for so long, Game 2 slipping through their fingers, and Game 3 at so many points looking like it could go either way. They being Joblife, put the final nail into the coffin, and they will send Nap Lovers packing with an incredible performance. And Nap Lovers, I mean, what a shame from the difference between Game 1 all the way now to Game 3, Ulitso. You gotta feel bad for this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. From 0-13 down on map 1 to 13-9 win on Pearl, just to lose 9-13 on the final map. But that is commendable. And I think these players should be praised for their mental strength, the fact that they can come back rejuvenated after losing 0-13 to take map 2 and then make a really good fight out of the last map. And I think, honestly, just based on the gameplay we saw, fatigue really got to them in the final rounds.
Yeah, and it's just a shame to have a team that has that potential inside them. But to be fair, Ulitso, we said when we jumped onto Pearl, what we said was we want a performance from this squad. We don't necessarily need them to win. We just want them to show us what they can do. And oh my goodness gracious, did they in fact show us what they can do, taking this series all the way and putting a very respectable bow on top of it. Now, before we go ahead and throw this over to the end, Yuli, are there any more words that you'd like to say to the players?
What a glorious series that you guys have given us to cast as well. This has been an absolute pleasure, and best of luck to all of these players. Obviously, the squad of Nap Lovers maybe not been together for that long, but there will be more opportunity for that. But before we throw it out, let's see some map stats. Actually, let's highlight some of the players from this map. You see Zoe and Hinata, both Razors, going neck and neck in both KD and ACS, with Mavinia having a little bit of a quiet game, and Zena as well. If you discount the ace that she had, the KD's about the same with Mavinia, but being able to wake up and deliver in moments like that is really what separates both of these teams at the end of the day, was the fatigue, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea how close the slash line was from these two duelists. It quite literally is. They were both on 21-15, and then Hinata got a kill onto Zoe, right? That's the story that you could tie onto that. That is insanely close, but it just goes to show you how evenly matched these two teams were. And, despite the low performance of Mavina in this game itself, I think it hurts a lot less to see on a Sky with a bad slash line compared to a Jet. But as we mentioned, Zena still came alive when those moments mattered the most. And at the end of the day, that is what secured Joblife the win.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you just look at the entire series, it's been absolutely crazy. And now Zoe and Hinata on this last map, right? You can see they're so evenly matched on basically every single stat. Really fighting tooth and nail for this series. And that's commendable for all the players in the server. And it cannot be easy for them to play these series, right? It must be very mentally taxing on Nap Lovers to start the series 0-13. Meanwhile, mentally taxing for Joblife to start the series winning so convincingly and then losing the second map.
Yeah, on both
what
sides,
a performance.
it's really difficult. Yeah, I think that's all we can really say about this. So that we haven't already said and digested and redigested is what a performance from both of these squads. Do not expect this to be the last you'll see from Nap Lovers. It will be their last attempt at this tournament itself. However, Joblife will be moving on to the quarterfinals of the Game Changers Cash Cup, which will be covered right here on this channel later on in the week. But folks, I believe that is all that we have for you today on EVC. But stay tuned, hit the follow button, and make sure that you ring that bell to stay up to date with when we go live with the quarters, the semis, and the grand finals. I've been Blazybard, this has been Yulitso, and thank you for watching.